Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Umineko Chapter 4. When we last left the story, Battler, unable to come to the realization or comprehension of what a quote-unquote bastard, aka someone who was born out of wedlock, or at least wasn't born to the mother he thought he was, or even just an adopted person. He couldn't comprehend these things or wrap his head around them, so he ceased to exist rather than acknowledge them. An interesting choice for someone in a life or death scenario. It's like, when it is revealed that your mother is not your mother, do you A, question whether or not your father is your father to determine this? Do you consider the fact you may be adopted? Or do you C, self-terminate? Battler clearly took the self-terminate option, where instead of killing himself, he just doesn't believe it's physically possible for himself to exist and ceases to exist. You know, killing yourself in despair or going into, a despair spiral when you realize you might be adopted or something, that's perfectly legitimate. But, Battler just refuses to believe it's possibly exists. Like, I've heard of some people having some bad reactions to finding out they're adopted. Or that, your dad's not your real dad because your mom cheated on him or something like that. You can have a bad reaction to that. But I've never heard of someone straight up rejecting the possibility that they could even exist to the point where they cease existing. That's quite an impressive feat of incompetence. But here we are. And Lambda Delta's saying, "Oh, wait up, burn, cast out," because we're just like, well, I guess that's that. Game's over. So, maybe the entire series will be over here. It's not like there's another 4 chapters or anything, guys. So, maybe we're in the home stretch. Wait, chasing after Burn Castell, who disappeared first. Lambda Delta disappeared as well. After that, everyone was gone and the study was now completely empty. Battler's gone. After all, he never existed in the first place. Everyone else left because there's no game or no fun to be had. He returned to silence as though no one had been there from the outset. No one was here in the first place. The silent study spoke that wordlessly, and the sound of the wind and rain began to fill the room bit by bit. I mean, I don't actually hear any of that wind rain. In a world where everything had sunk into darkness, Beato questioned herself.
やはり魔法は初めからマリアージュ・ソルシエールの中だけで
As I thought. From the very
使うべ
beginning,
きであったな。
magic should only have been used within Mariage Sorcière.
そうだね。
Seems so.
マリアも
I also
エンジェの時にそう思ったよ。
thought that with Ange.
魔女同盟はわらわとそなた、
The Witches' Alliance is just you and I.
その二人で始めた。
It started with those two.
他のものを混ぜようというのがそもそもの間違いであったのだ。
Including others was our first mistake. Alright.
こんなにも楽しいから、
It's just so fun.
マリアたちはその輪に親しい誰かを加えたかったよね。
We wanted to add someone close to us into the circle.
そうして魔女同盟がどこまでも大きくなって、
Wish the Witches' Alliance would get really large.
みんなで楽しく魔法
Everyone
が
would
使
be
え
able to use
て
fun magic together.
幸せになれたらと願っ
And we'd all
た。
be happy.
だが魔法を理解できるのは
However, it
やはり
turns
わ
out
らわとそなたの二人だけだった。
only you and I are able to understand magic after all.
私たちは奇跡が巡り合わせたこの世界でたった二人しかいない魔女なんだよ。
After all, we're the only 2 witches in this world who are brought together by a miracle.
マリアはもうベアとさえいれば他には誰もいらないよ。
And now, as long as I have Beato, I don't need anyone else. I don't even know what's supposed to be going on here. Me too. Me too. Alright.
そなたさえいればもう誰もいらぬ。
As long as you're here, I don't need anyone else anymore.
マリアージュ・ソルシエールは結成したその一番最初の時点で
In the very first moment that Mariage Sorcière was
も
formed,
う 完成していたんだよ。
It was already complete.
そうである
It is so.
な。まさに
Really so.
そうであるな。
Sorry, I guess we're not getting Battler to believe in you. It was once a witches' alliance to make everyone happy together with magic. I wonder when it got this screwed up. I don't think Beatrice tried to make anyone happy. What did I want to do when I started this game? I think Battler was... You want to prove the existence of witches to Battler? After killing his whole family, I think? I can't remember that. Oh, I may remember. But that's a feeling I now wish to throw away to the far side of oblivion.
いいよ。
It's okay.
何もかも忘れてしまおう。
Why not forget everything?
二人だけのマリアージュ・ソルシエール。
Let's have a Mario Associate just for the two of us.
私たち
Well,
は
it needs a new name then.
互いを認め合う。
We'll acknowledge each other,
そして誰にも傷つけられない。
and no one will hurt us.
だからもう
It's
傷
a
つ
nice
かない。
dream.
泣かない。
We won't be hurt. We won't cry. A really, really nice dream, okay?
すべて忘れよう。
Let's forget everything. Forget it all, everything that led you here.
ね、ベアと
I mean, you can use magic to do that, right?
私たちは永遠だよ。
Hey, Beto? We're eternal.
マリア
Maria. I think is the Maria in this arc living? I don't remember. I think she lived. Got quizzed by Kinzo and lived. Beatrice is crying over Maria? Or is she crying over Battler not acknowledging her? Okay. So, Battler, time to dust yourself off and to go back to winning. Get back to winning, or, sorry, attempting to win, Battler. Didn't say winning, he doesn't usually win. Back to the world 12 years later, awesome. Perfect time for an interlude where we're traveling to the island on the boat? Yeah! With Ange.
天草それ切ってくれる？
Aksa, did you turn that off?
おっと、それ
My
は
bad.
失礼。M ザッキーはお嫌いで？
You don't like M. Zaki? I have no clue who that's supposed to be. Sounds like some jazz.
今が気分じゃないだけ。
I'm just not in the mood. Moxa turned the radio off. The world of cheery sounds was immediately swallowed up by the roar of the sea and blotted out by the ocean's gray.
見えるかい？
Can you see it?
あの辺が当時の船着き場だ。
Over there is where the harbor was at the time. The boat captain pointed, but I couldn't really recall the scene of 12 years ago. I thought I'd surely be able to immediately remember how things had been at that time, but no memories came back to me. After that incident, the island was sealed off and left to the wild. I couldn't satisfy myself with the thought that this was just inevitable, and it felt sad and painful for some reason. But I at least remember one thing. You might say it'd be the same anywhere on the sea, but I remember at least one thing. The cries of the seagulls. Yep, saw that one coming. I remember those. When I was young, I rarely went to the ocean. Everything that symbolized the ocean meant rock and Jima and a family gathering to me. In short, it was a symbol for the happiness of going out with my family. However, at this point in time, it seems doubtful there even was that happiness. In my younger days, the trip felt like a relaxed family vacation, but considering my parents' situation at the time, it was surely a very difficult trip to handle, with the distribution of the inheritance filling the place with the smell of gunpowder. I remember giggling all over the place, completely ignorant of my parents' feelings.
六軒島ですか。
Rock and Jima, huh?
すべての始まりで、すべての旅の終着駅ってわけだ。
Place of all beginnings and the end of the line for all journeys. Moxa, in an attempt to speak for my innermost feelings, tried to sound cool. The boat slowly rounded the island. I hoped that viewing it at a different angle might bring my memories of the island's silhouette at the time just a little, but in the end, even that inlet was hidden completely by cliffs, so I wasn't able to remember anything.
船長、さっきの
Captain, tell
もう
me
一つの船着き場の話を聞かせてください。
about that other harbor you mentioned.
六軒島には船着き場は一つしかないことになっとる。
Rakanjima supposedly has only one
だ
harbor,
がそれは表向きだ。
but that's only for public appearances.
島裏のもう一つの隠された船着き場。
Didn't I say a harbor on the back of the island? God damn it. On the back of the island, there's a hidden harbor?
六軒島そのものね。
Like
誰
Rakanjima
も知ら
itself.
ない二つ目のもう一つの顔がある。
Yeah, the second face, which no one knows about.
六軒島は石呂宮家の領有する島だ。
Rakanjima is an island owned by the Yoshiromiya
だ
family.
が金蔵さん個人が所有する島というもう一つの顔があ
But it
る。
has another face as an island owned by Kinzo-san personally.
一つの島、二つの船着き場、二つ
The
の
island
屋
has
敷
two harbors and
です
two
ね。
mansions.
愛人を囲うためだけに随分と金をか
He
けた
sure
もん
spent a
だ。
lot just to keep a mistress.
もう一つの船着き場のことを知る人間は
Who knew about the second harbor?
限られとる。
Very few.
金蔵さん、執事の源氏さん、
Kinzo, the butler,
わしら船の関係者、
those of us involved with the boats,
高齢の使用人がほんの数人だ。
and a very small number of the oldest servants. Interesting. So several people knew, including Genji. So if we actually want to, I mean, Genji died first round this time. All right.
南城診療所の先代先生も熊沢のばあさんも知っとった。
Both the previous owner of the Nanjo clinic and that Kumasawa-ba-san knew. Interesting. Okay, so Kumasawa and Dr. Nanjo and Genji all knew about the about the second hidden mansion, and just denied its existence.
数えり
Alright.
ゃ結構いるような気がするが、とにかく知っている人間はわずかだった。
Naming them off like this makes it sound like there were quite a few, but basically there was a small number of people who knew.
そのもう一つの屋敷について教えてください。
Tell me about the other mansion.
クワドリアンちゅう名前のお屋敷があるとだけは聞かされとった。
I was only told there's a mansion called
わ
Kuidorian.
しは船を離れることを許されんかったから一度も見たことはないが、
Since I wasn't allowed to leave the boat, I never saw it, not even once.
船着き場からは見えないくらいに遠いということですかい？
It was far enough away you couldn't see it from the harbor.
わからん。
I
た
don't know.
だ隠し屋敷だからな。
It was a hidden mansion.
外
After
から
all.
は見えん場所に建ててあったろうな。
It's probably built where you couldn't see it from the
とにか
outside.
くクワドリアンについてはあの島の最高の秘密だった。
Anyway, Kuidorian was the biggest secret of the island. Okay.
クワドリアンにベアトリーチェが住まわされていた。
There's a theory that Beatrice lived on Kuidorian, or else was confined there.
あるいは幽閉されていたという説がありますが、
わしはクワドリアンへの雑貨も運んでおった。
I did sometimes carry miscellaneous goods to
そ
Kuidorian.
の中に女しか使わんような、それも高級なもんが含まれることも多かっ
It
た。
did include a lot of stuff that only women would use. Expensive stuff at that.
わしもその説を確信しとる。
I'm also convinced that theory is true. That's fair.
では船長はベアトリーチェって女を直接見たことはない
Does
わ
that
けです
mean
か？
you never saw Beatrice directly, Captain? Yep, they got... I mean, Kinzo could have been huffing copium, but I think he had a prisoner, right? We think he had a prisoner, that's our current
な
theory.
い。
No, he doesn't have to believe in
20年
Beatrice.
近く出入りをしたが、一度も見たことはない。
Came and went for 20 years, never saw her once.
20年。
20 years?
きゅうってことは最低でも年齢プラス20ってわけだ。
Means she was at least 20 plus.
こりゃマドモアゼルは期待できねえな。
Looks like she wasn't some mademoiselle.
だが、クワ
No,
ドリアンへ
Kinzo's
の出
robbing
入りは
cradles, my dude.
ある日を境にぷっつりとなくなっちまった。
But one day, bang, all coming and going from to and from Kuidorian stopped. Almost like
今
someone
から
died.
だいたい30年前だか
It was
ら、
about 30 years ago.
昭和43年頃だったと思う。
Around Showa 43, 1968. Okay.
ぷっつりと
Bang. Like it was just sudden, but you didn't know why?
突然
You mean suddenly?
食料やゴミなどの運搬往来で、わしらは決められた日程で裏に行っとった。
We came to the hidden side on a set schedule to carry food and trash back and forth. Okay.
ああ、裏っちゅうのは、クワドリアン側の船着き場のことだ。
Right, the hidden side is what we called the harbor linked to Kuadorian. Okay, okay. They went on a set schedule.
わかります
I get it. And then one day suddenly you
それで
didn't have to deliver? That's what assuming happened? One day you
あ
just
る
stopped
日
having to deliver?
源氏さんから急な連絡があった。
One day we got an urgent message from Genji-san. It's probably like, don't deliver to the hidden side anymore.
別の指示があるまで裏には行かなくていいって言うんだ。
It said until we heard differently, there was no need for us to go to the hidden side anymore. Yep, sounds about right.
別の指示とは
And did you ever hear differently?
特にはなかった。
Not really.
早い話が、ある日突然、裏には今後、定期便はいらない。食料も届けなくていいと言わ
I
れ
was
たわ
just
けだ。
suddenly told one day they wouldn't need regular service to the hidden side anymore, and I didn't have to take food there either.
わしは最初、クビにされたのかと思ったよ。
At first I thought I was being fired,
だが、すぐに気づいた。
but I quickly figured it out.
それに、クワドリアンのことを知る使用人たちの様子からも、なんとなく察しがついた。
Judging by the reactions of those who knew of Kuadorian, I managed to guess somehow.
ベアトリーチェが死んで
ベアトリーチェ
食料を届ける必要も
And there
世
was
話
no
人を
longer
送る
any...
必要もなくなった
Beatrice died and there was no longer any need to take food or people to care for her?
わしはそう考えとる。
That's what I think, and that's pretty straightforward. Okay. I don't think I have any problems with what he's saying
それ
here.
っきり、裏へ船を出せという指示は受けてない。
And from that point onwards, I was never told to take a boat to the hidden side. Alright.
しかし、裏については死ぬまで何も喋るなと。
However, after that, Genji came to see me face to face and got pushy.
その後、源氏さんが直接わしのところへ来て、えらく
Strongly
強く
urging me
念
to
を
never
押した。
speak of anything related to the hidden side until I died. Well, Genji's dead now, so fuck him, I guess. After all that murder business.
その20年間も放置されていた隠し屋敷に
If the hidden side was abandoned for a whole 20 years,
どうしてエヴァおばさんが
why was Aunt Ava there? Very suspicious. On that day 12 years ago, Ushiromiya Ava somehow escaped harm alone in a hidden mansion 2 kilometers away from the mansion. Was she in a hidden mansion that had been forgotten for 20 years? Maybe.
ワイドショーで見たよ。
I saw in the talk show.
わしにも何が何だかさっぱりわからん。
Even I don't have a clue what happened. Well, at least he's being honest. He's like, yeah, I don't know. There's probably some weird shit going on, but fucked if I know.
エヴァさんを裏へ案内したことは一度もない。
Inzu was writing this stuff himself. Alright. Even I don't have a clue what happened. Not once did I guide Ava-san to the hidden
ど
side.
うして、どうやってクワドリアンを知り、たどり着いたのか。わしにはさっぱり見当もつかない。
I have no clue or how or why she knew about Kuadorian or reached it.
裏のクアドリアンに陸路で行くことは不可能だったのかしら
I wonder if it was possible to reach the hidden Kuadorian by land.
もしも話通りに未開の密林だとしたら
Could the message be, because I think we came out near the well, could the message have been, oh, hold up, I want to stop and take a look at the message. Next one? Oh, it's tips, No? Okay, we don't have it. I was gonna say, could it mean, like, go to where the well is? But that doesn't make sense. I guess The well isn't the end of a trail. The well is the start of a trail? Oh, whatever. It could be the mouth of a river, I guess, if there's a river under it. Very vaguely. That might be what they were referring to. The riddle might have been directing them to the well. That's nearby and is something she could have reached. The well passage. I'm just reaching for like what she could have been doing or how she could have solved the riddle in Act 3 briefly. If, as we heard, the forest was dense and
おめかしし
uncultivated,
た奥様風情に踏破できるもんじゃありませんぜ。
I sincerely doubt a well-dressed lady would be able to bush crash it. Yep, that seems unlikely. There's probably a shortcut.
じゃあ帰ろう。
What about by sea?
モーターボートみたいなものがあったとか。
Perhaps a motorboat or something?
まさか。
Are you kidding?
あの二晩の台風は、そりゃひどいもんだった。
That two-nighter typhoon was awful. I mean, obviously, underground passage.
船なんぞ使えるわけもない。
No way you could have used a boat? Alright, thanks, dude.
じゃあ屋敷とクアドリアンを直通する、例えば地下通路のようなものがあったとか。
So if there was an underground passage or something between the mansion and Kuadorian? That one makes
愛
sense.
人の家へ出入りするのに毎回船の用立てが必要なんて面倒でしょ。
Wouldn't it have been a pain to charter a boat every time you wanted to go visit your mistress's house?
全長 2km の六軒島の対角線上に存在する屋敷をつなぐためにそんだけの長い地
You
下ト
mean
ン
a
ネル
tunnel
を
long enough to connect mansions on opposite sides of a 2-kilometer island like Rockinjima? Sure.
とバカにしてえところだが愛人のために隠し屋敷まで作っちまう大富豪だ。
Well, I'd like to laugh at the thought, but this rich guy did make a whole hidden mansion for his mistress.
それも否定できんところですな。
Guess I can't deny that possibility. Yep,
どうなん
he's
です
got
か
money.
船長
He's。got fuck you money, why not? What do you think, Captain?
わしは海の人間だ。
I'm a man of the sea.
穴のことはわからん。
I don't know shit about holes. His wife, I'm sure, is greatly disappointed.
だが、硫黄島で旧日本軍は25キロのトンネルを掘ってみせたぞ。
But the Japanese military did dig a 25-kilometer tunnel on Iwo Jima.
あの金蔵さんなら2キロくらい掘ってみせてもわしは何も驚かん。
Wouldn't surprise me if that Kinzo-san could dig at least 2 kilometers.
やっぱりおかしな島ね。
There really is something wrong with this island.
私たちはこの島のことを未だ誰一人
Even
何
now,
も知
none
ら
of
な
us
い。
know shit about it. It is a suspicious island, to be sure. So where are they landing? The boat reached the shore. They'd have to walk a short ways to reach the mansion.
わしはここで待っている。
I'll wait here. Did they destroy the harbor?
屋敷は向こうだ。
Mansion's that
当
way.
時の道が残っているだろうが、草木で覆われてしまってるはずだ。
The path from that back then's probably still there, but I bet it's covered with
迷わん
plants.
ように気をつけてな。
Make sure you don't get lost.
ほんじゃ行きましょうかね。
Alright, let's go.
ありがとう天草。
Thank you for everything, Makusa.
あんたもここで待ってて。
You wait here too.
まそう言い出すんじゃないかと思っ
Had a
てまし
feeling
た
you'd
ぜ。
say that. What if Sumadera's already on the island? You just gonna go solo?
届け物をするだけよ。
I'm just delivering
あ
something.
なたが一緒だと向こうが迷惑するの。
It'll be troublesome for
あ
them
んた
if
の
they
毒
get
素
you come too.
強そうだから。
I imagine your toxin is strong.
毒素
Toxin.
はて
Oh,
すぐに戻るわ。
I'll be back soon.
今日の本命はクアドリアンの方だもの。
Today our main goal is Kuadorian.
届け物をしたらすぐに戻ってくるわ。
After I deliver this, I'll come right back. Ange put on her knapsack holding the flowers she would offer.
察してやれ若いの。
Here's some space, young'un.
行ってこいお嬢ちゃん。
See you soon, little lady.
あんたの家族が待っている。
Family's waiting for you. Yeah, the path doesn't look too bad. It's like they changed the color grading. I'd never been on a road like this, but had no trouble finding my way. If I walked straight ahead, it would probably guide me to the final destination for everything. It was true the vegetation was incredibly thick, and if I didn't pay attention, I'd lose track of the path. But the road that was left was much clearer than I guessed it would be. Still, that didn't change the fact it was a bad road. Contrary to the distances shown on the map, I was forced to walk a long way. The forest was deep and dark. At the time, I'd been threatened into staying away from the forest because a witch lived there. Of course, that fear is gone now, but I feel it. That was me. I could feel the presence like an aura of the Golden Witch Beatrice. Here and there were massively fallen lumps of rock along with overgrown trees and ivy, and the voices of birds and bugs. I feel it. I feel that the witch is here. Ahead, an ivy-covered construction site fence and a warning sign stood. No entry, Tokyo Metropolis. That was written on it. Yeah, that's right. When you think Tokyo, you tend to think of a city, but Rokkenjima is also located within the Tokyo Metropolis. Apologizing to the sign for my rude mistake, I climbed the fence. When I crossed the steep slope beyond that, my field of vision rapidly expanded, and a fresh sea breeze blew through my hair. It was like the top of a little hill. Below me was a vast view of the island. I could only see desolated forest and rock walls spread out below me, but I realized the mansion was probably somewhere around there. The steep downward slope beyond the hill had probably been caused by earth and rocks collapsing from 12 years of wind and rain. It became a slant filled with crags you might even call gentle cliffs, and it would be easy to tumble down, although it looked like climbing back would be quite difficult. In any event, it seemed proceeding further would be impossible. If I continued further, I wouldn't be able to return. In other words, this is the border. This place is 1986 and 1998. It is that day and today. The boundary between this world and Nirvana. This spot is...
ここがこの旅の終着点みたいね。
this journey's final destination, it seems. As the strong winds blew Mammon's and Saktaro's hair, they looked down from the hilltop.
ここからじゃさっぱりわからないわ。
From here, I can't
お
tell.
屋敷はどこ？
Where's the
も
mansion?
っと近づきましょうよ。
Let's get closer.
無理だよ。
Dude, that's impossible.
戻ってこれなくなっちゃうよ。
We won't be able to come back. We won't be able to come back. Is that it? I see. This is 1998. And I'm the Ashiramiya Ange who's been left all alone. At first this was a journey to die, but not anymore. It's become a journey to accomplish something.
うん。
Yeah.
だからごめんね。二人と
Sorry, you
も
too.
あの日の私なら何も戸惑わずにこの崖を降りるだろうけれど。
As I was back then on that day, I would have gone down that cliff without hesitation.
ビルの屋上から飛び降りた後ろ宮エンジェが情けない。
Oh, come on, this is pretty lame for the skyscraper jumping Ashiramiya Ange.
ごめんね。
Sorry.
ここでも同じだよ。
This place is as good as
あ
any.
の日の風が感じられるから。
After all, you can feel the wind of that day.
こんな風だったっけ？
The wind, really like
う
this?
ん。もうすぐ来てくれるよ。
Soon they'll come.
みんな。
Everyone. Saktaro said it as though it's completely natural. And I believed it. Dad, Mom, Oni-chan, all my relatives and those fun servants, and Maria One-chan.
私よ。エンジェよ。
It's NJ.
私は帰ってきたわ。
I've come back. When I started my journey to expose the past of 12 years ago, my goal had been abstract and I hadn't understood. But now I have no doubts. This journey was induced by several thoughts and fates over 12 years. A journey to reach an end for me, Ashiramiya Ange. And a journey to reach an end is the last wish of Mariage Sorcière. I came here as the last daughter of the Ashiramiya family. And it's the last witch.
お父さん、お母さん、お兄ちゃん、
Dad, Mom,
ごめん
Oni-chan.
ね。
Sorry.
先にマリアお姉ちゃんとの挨拶をさせてね。
Let me greet Maria One-chan first. A strong tailwind urged me on. The tailwind took just my soul from inside my body to the vast forest beneath me, And though from here I couldn't see, I believed it flew me to the mansion on that day, to where everyone was, to where Maria One-chan was. Wait, did we land? Okay, so the view is telling me that we actually landed at Kuadorian, the hidden island, but like, then why are we doing all this reminiscing about Maria and the family? Shouldn't we have landed at the actual harbor? The like standard one? Because we didn't get a shot of the harbor overgrown. We got the path from the harbor, but the path from the harbor led to these hilly mountains and nothing instead of a building or a destroyed building. It's not really clear what's going on. Because you said today Kuadorian, right? And so, even though my body was on the top of a hill, a strong wind blowing against me, my soul was now certainly dancing through the sky. The vast, vast sky of Rockinjima. Below me, the green of many trees. But I understand. I can comprehend the presence of my family and relatives and all the servants. And Maria One-chan too. I could even comprehend Maria One-chan as a witch. It was vast, more so than any vast space I had imagined until now.
マリアお姉ちゃん、
Maria One-chan,
聞こえる？
can you hear me?
聞いて。
Listen. Ange called to the Maria of that day. She told her of the long journey she'd undergone, of her long-delayed realization of just how much she'd wounded Maria in her youth. She understood magic, and she now understood everything about the world Maria wanted to show her. It was very warm, overflowing with love and happiness. She wanted to become even happier by sharing the world, but I trampled it.
だから私、今こそ全部理解したの。
Now I finally understand everything.
魔法を
I
理解
understand
した。
magic.
私たちの魔法はきっととてもささやかで身近に溢れてる。
Our magic is surely faint and fills the space
でも
beside us.
それは誰の目にも見えるものではないのよ。
But it isn't something anyone can see with their eyes.
魔法とは
Magic is.
はっきり言えるわ。
I can say it clearly. Without love, it cannot be seen. Sorry, One-chan. I've already been excommunicated from the Alliance of Witches, but now I understand how wonderful it is. And I know that after the day I wounded you, Mariage Sorcière was transfigured into something different from what you truly desired. Even the magic that spat anger by cursing people was probably important to One-chan in those days. Her environment was sad enough to permit that.
でも
But
も
now,
うそんな悲しい日々は
those
終わったよ。
sad days
だか
are
ら
over.
お姉ちゃんの魔女同盟を
Let's return One-chan's Alliance of
元の
Witches
優しいマリアージュ・ソルシエルに
back to the original Mariage
Odoso.
Sorcière. Alright. The grimoire was in my hands before I realized it, the strong winds rapidly blowing its pages one after another. That world had been kind in the beginning. How could you give birth to magic that would make candy fall from the sky? How could you give birth to magic that would make tomorrow's dinner cream croquette? How could you give birth to magic that would make the weather good when you went out the next day, making your whole day fun? New spells of happiness were created one after another, coloring her world with kindness. The days were flipped through one after another, and months began flashing by. The pages with drawings that had once been colorful gradually began to change into the color of black ink. Eerie magic circles and demon summonings. Evil magic for harming people. How could you give birth to magic that would cause the class bully to catch a cold? How could you give birth to magic that would seriously injure someone in a class so they died? How would you give birth to magic that would cause a bus loaded with all the bullies to fall off a cliff? Malicious spells created one after another, burying the pages and her heart.
私がお姉ちゃんを傷つけたから
Because I hurt
マ
One-chan.
リアージュ・ソルシエルはこんなになってしまった。
Mariage Sorcière ended up like this.
お姉ちゃんは黒き邪悪な魔女じゃない。
One-chan isn't a black evil witch.
白き無垢で
He's
無邪気な
Pure and innocent,
優しい魔女だったの
a
よ。
kind witch.
私が元に戻してあげる。
I'll return it to how it was.
元のみんなを幸せにする魔法を
I'll
世
bring
界中
back
に振りまいていた
the original Mario One-chan.
マリアお姉ちゃんに戻してあげる。
The one who scattered magic to make people happy across the whole world. Or I guess at least Japan, right?
そのために私はここへ来た。
That's the reason I came here.
運命に導かれてきた。
I was guided by fate. Okay,
お姉
okay.
ちゃん、聞こえてる？
Mario One-chan, can you hear me?
その姿を私の前に見せて。
Put yourself before me. The voice rode an even stronger wind and was sent 12 years into the past, and then the wind gradually ceased, and silence fell. Alright. Crunch, crunch. I could hear the sound of gravel being stepped on. I listened to those footsteps, surprised at this miracle. Without a doubt, they were Mario One-chan's footsteps.
マリアお姉ちゃん。
Mario One-chan?
かすみよ。
It's Kasumi. I mean, I don't know what you expected. She didn't bring her bodyguard, and I was like, is no one gonna consider that the Sumideras are already here on this island? Because they're ahead of you? That was, I even said that. Oh well. Not surprising.
ようやく見つけたわよ。
Looks like I finally found you,
Ange-chan?
NJ-chan. Before I knew it, Aunt Kasumi and her black suits, a total of 7 people who didn't resemble Mario One-chan in the slightest, were standing there surrounding me. And it felt like my voice had been just about to reach Mario One-chan too. Because of these guys' toxin, the magic was cut off. NJ clicked her tongue at that, but Kasumi probably didn't hear it that way.
そのお花は亡くなった家族への？
Are those your flowers for your deceased family?
偉いわ。
Admirable.
それ投げるんでしょ？
You're gonna throw them, right?
いいわよ。それまで待ってあげる。
Go ahead, we'll wait that long. Alright, is this where she's just like... ah, fuck it, I'll jump, and jumps again? That'd be kind of funny. She did that once, right? Just what are you waiting for? But NJ could more or less guess. The way the black suits unnaturally stuck their hands into their pockets clearly brought to mind the likelihood they had handguns. This is a deserted island. There could be no more convenient place to dispose of someone. I have no interest in family matters of the Sumidera family, but if I die, all that wealth will go to them. Unlike me, they're probably very interested and concerned about this matter. Of course, it seems that if the massive amounts of stock I own suddenly go to them, it'll be pretty bad for Ushiramiya Group as well. And they're apparently having a secret feud, fighting all over me by themselves. Probably why President Okanogi gave me Amakusa as a guard. Having him wait on the boat was a regrettable mistake. And an obvious one, let's be honest. It was the most obvious thing on the planet. It's like, okay, Kasumi's gonna be waiting there, and then she walks out, like, whatever.
おばさん、いつからここで待ち伏せを？
Aunt Kasumi, how long have you been waiting for this ambush?
早朝からよ。
Well, since early morning.
おかげですっかり待ちくたびれちゃったわ。
Thanks to that, I'm completely tired of waiting.
何しろ喫茶店もお化粧室もないからね。
After all, there are no cafes or dressing rooms here.
トイレもないから、お上品に木陰で用を済ませていたわけね。
No toilets either. I guess you had to elegantly drop a load behind a tree.
仮にもスマデラ家の血を半分引いてる淑女が、そんな汚らわしい言葉を使うんじゃないわ。
A lady with half Sumidera blood flowing through her veins will not use such filthy words. You're right by a cliff, right? Just throw her off and be like, well, she fell. She tried to kill me. She had brought 7 guys with guns, pointed them at me, so I threw her off. You really are Sumidera Kire's child.
気品のかけらもありゃしない。
Not a trace of grace. He grabbed me by the hair and forced my face up to hers. Speaking of traces of grace, and then spat at me. My words might be filthy, but they're no worse than her spit.
おばさんが私のことを話すと、いつも母さんのことばかり。
Every time you talk to me, Aunt Kasumi, it's always about mom.
私、そんなにも母さんに似てますか？
Am I really that much like my mother?
ええ、似ているわ。
Yes, you are.
その生意気そうな目つき。
You impertinent
鼻も
gaze.
口もそっくりよ。
Your mouth and nose
自
are the
由
same
奔
too.
放で無責任。
Freewheeling.
歴史
Irresponsible.
と伝統あるスマデラ家の重みなど何も考えず、自分勝手に家を飛び出したわ。
You think nothing of the long history and tradition of the Sumadera family and selfishly flew out of the house.
おかげで私の人生はずっとその尻拭い。
And thanks to that, my entire life has been devoted to cleaning up your mess.
まさにあんたの人生クソまみれね。
I guess your life really has been covered with crap. When I was slapped on the cheek, my ear was smashed, and for an instant my head rang. My hair was pulled, spinning me around, and I fell to the ground. And in a flash, the ground was kicked, and I was struck with sand.
ああ、本当に姉さんに似てきたわ。
You really are like
その
Nessa.
目つき、
The gaze.
そのどこか小馬鹿にした目つきよ。
The gaze, like you're mocking me somehow.
ああ、思い出すわ、いろ
I
いろ
remember
と。
so many things.
哀れな人ね。
You're a sad
きっ
person.
と幼い頃から何かにつけて母さんに比較されて蔑まされてきたんでしょうに。
You always got compared to mom and scorned. How did she even get on this island? Like, how did she get on this island if she can't charter a boat? I assume she has infinite money. And just, like, bought her own boat. Why not?
そしてあんたは一生その惨めさから解放されやしないわ。
And for your entire life, you'll never be released from that wretchedness?
お前みたいな小娘にはわからないわよ。
A little girl like you couldn't possibly
あんた
understand.
のお母さんはね、何もかもを投げ出してスマデラ家を逃げ出した負け犬なのよ。
You see, your mother's a loser who threw everything away and ran away from the Sumadera family, right? I mean, Miss Sumadera, I know you're, like, a little stupid, but if you think about it, Kyrie's leaving to join the Ushiramiya is literally the only reason your family is still standing. So she's done more for the family than you have, right? Because the only leg the family has to stand on is the fact that Kyrie married into the family and had a kid, and you can steal the kid's inheritance money to bolster your family's wealth, right? Because that's what she's doing. Which, for some reason, the money isn't directly owned or in a trust fund for Ange until she's an adult, which is normally what the inheritance money would be, how the inheritance money would be handled by default. Because it clearly wasn't left to her. I'm not sure how it would work. But like, I guess we'll assume some malicious intent on Ava's part, so she didn't put it in a trust and just handed her all the money. Or wrote that the accounts would all pass down to her immediately, so that they could be claimed by someone who's an adult. Anyway. Either way, Sumadera should be thanking the Ashiramiyas and Kyrie for giving her family a leg to stand on, and a fuck ton of money with which to pursue that. To give them a goal to pursue that would give them easy money.
その負け犬のせいで、
You know how
私が
much
どれほど迷惑したことか。
trouble I went through because of that loser? Clearly not very much, considering how much money you stand to gain because of Kyrie is dead. I'm not sure how you're possibly going through any trouble. You're literally in the process of becoming a billionaire for literally no effort other than kidnapping a little girl. That seems really easy.
あんたの迷惑なんか私の知ったこっちゃないわ。
Any trouble you went through has nothing to do with me.
私の生まれる前の話をされても困るわよ。
I'm sorry, what am I supposed to do about something that happened before I was born?
あんたの人生はいつ始まるの？
When will your life begin?
始まりゃしないわ。
It never will.
いつまでもいつまでも永久に死んだ母さんに嘲笑われ続け、そのまま死ぬのよ。
For all eternity, you'll always continue to be sneered at by my dead mother until you die.
というか死ねば。
If only you just die
なんで
already.
生きてるの？
Why are you even living?
この口の減らないか。あんたたち、
You all
ちょいとお茶をしてやりなさいな。
make her some tea.
お任せを。
Leave it to us.
口の利き方も知らねえクソガキが
Big mouth shitty brat.
少し勉強させてやるぜ。
Let's teach you a lesson. Okay. The black saints dashed up to me, violently grabbed me by the nape of my neck, and dragged me down.
私が一服終えるまでに適当に。
Do whatever you want to her until my break's over.
かわいいメイにちょいと身の程を教えてあげなさい。
Teach my cute niece her place. Sumadera Kasumi. When I think about it, she was a pitiable person. To the outside world, women of the Sumidera family are trained to be in a position that's supported and deferred to men, but in actuality, strong leadership was required from them so they could manage all the common folk. The role demanded of them was really that of female commander, like a literal reading of the word okami. Managing the Sumidera family with its traditions is not something that could be accomplished with an ordinary level of dignity. It was an unimaginably heavy responsibility. Normally this would have been demanded of Kyrie. Kyrie had undergone that harsh training, and Kasumi, the younger sister, should have been able to take it easy. On the contrary, she lived like a lazy, selfish, affluent princess, sneering at Kyrie, who'd been given a heavy responsibility. However, Kyrie suddenly was disinherited. She refused the fiancé her parents arranged and got pregnant by her lover Ushirmiya Rudolph. From the Sumidera's perspective, even though the family held a vast fortune, it was a low-level family that had already collapsed. And to become not even a legal wife but a mistress to the second son of that family? Normally a daughter of the main family would be shown no mercy for such dishonor. They'd wrap her up in a mat, place a pole on end, and throw her either into the Pacific, or if the pole fell to the right, the Sea of Japan, if it fell to the left. But Kyrie's punishment ended with disinheritance, an unbelievably warm-hearted decision, and after that the Sumidera family began receiving favorable treatment from a section of the Ashiramiya group. There must have been some kind of backroom deal. In other words, Kyrie openly left the Sumidera under the pretense of gaining financial support from the Ushiramiyas. Kasumi had watched it happen in shock, or even disparaged her dishonorable sister as a loser. Eventually, she realized the heavy responsibilities Kyrie had borne would be passed on to her. And then for the first time she saw she'd been outwitted.
あんたの母親のせいで私の人生はめちゃめちゃにされたわ。
This is quite the level of entitlement. She wants to just live as a princess her whole life, and it's salty that she actually has to ever work. Because of your mother, my life was ruined. Imagine being this entitled. You believe that you deserve to be born into a life of luxury and do nothing your whole life. Well, now I feel even less bad for her. I just thought she was a bitch previously, but now she's an entitled bitch. Alright. New levels. Cool.
一度殺されたと言
You'd
って
even
も
say
いい。
she killed me once.
あの日に私は一度殺されて地獄のような日々に突き落とされた
On
のよ
that day, I was killed once and thrown into a hellish life. You're a shitty sister.
それまで人生舐めてきたツケじゃない。
Isn't that what you get for making light of life until then?
口の減らねえ小娘だぜ。
Don't you ever stop talking to
ぐ
me.
ら
Black suit punched me in the gut and I doubled over. I was quickly grabbed by the nape of the neck and made to stand up again. Kasumi cold-heartedly looked down at me, smoking a cigarette. The painful days after Kyrie had left were floating through her mind. Until then, she'd been allowed to be a simple lady, free-willing and naive. Only the older sister, Kyrie, had been harshly trained, and she, the younger sister, was living as nothing more than a princess. Then suddenly, things got flipped over and her life came crashing down.
私の人生も生活も生き方も
My life, lifestyle, the way I live, all stolen from me. The level of entitlement to be able to say that I can't live as a multimillionaire from birth and have to work for my millions to maintain it.
事情を知らない親類からは姉さんの不名誉を理由にどれだけ蔑まれたことか
You know how much I was derided by relatives who didn't know the details because of my sister's
呪った
dishonor?
あなたのお母さんを血を吐くほどに呪ったわよ
I detested your mother enough to make me spit blood. Alright.
そりゃ嬉しいわ。
Glad to hear it.
これからもよろしく。
Keep up the good work. A kick landed in Ange's side as she crawled on the ground. Ange didn't stand up again, so she continued to lie there like a caterpillar as she was kicked each time she spoke up. I saw Nei-san, an Ishiramiya group.
姉さんを後ろ宮グループのパーティーで見かけたわ
Uh-huh.
あいつ旦那と
She
一
was
緒
with
で
her husband,
とても幸せそう
looking happy,
笑ってやがった
laughing.
私に
She
全部押し付けて
pushed everything onto you. You mean all the things she was doing previously? I feel like I should just say cry me a river, but you know, I already said that. She found happiness
幸せに
for herself? Wow, imagine that. So what?
だから何？私に八つ当たりすると どうあんたが幸せにな
How
るっ
is
てわけ？
taking it on me gonna make you happy? Well, I mean, NJ, you don't ever leave the island. She's just torturing you for her amusement. 'Cause did you miss the part where you said she lived like a princess, got everything she wanted, did whatever she wanted? This is just an extension of that.
私に八つ当たりすると
Well,
時
taking it
間
out
が
on
巻
me,
き
turn
戻っ
back
て
time and change
歴
history?
史が変わ
No.
ったりし
But
て
she
くれ
probably
るわ
does
け。
this to random people all the time.
あんた、さっき言っ
You
たわ
said
ね。
something a short while ago.
私の人生はいつ始まるの？
When will my life
い
start?
くら恨んでも八つ当たりしても時間を巻き戻すことなんてできない。
No matter how much I despise you or take out my frustrations on you, I can't turn back
じゃあ
time.
私は死ぬまでこうして死んでもなお姉さんを恨み続けて？
So must I keep hating my sister even though she's gone till I die?
冗談じゃないわ。
You gotta be kidding me.
いつまで私は姉さんの亡霊に苛まれてなきゃなら
How
ない
long
の
will
よ。
I have to be tormented by my sister's ghost? Forever.
だから考えたのよ。
I thought of
これ
something.
を成し遂げたら全ての恨みを忘れてやり直せるってね。
If I could accomplish one thing, I'd be able to forget all my hatred and start over. NJ was about to lash back out at her, but stopped. Because she'd be kicked again if she responded. Even if Kasumi didn't say anymore, NJ had a pretty good idea what she meant. Kasumi thought by taking revenge against Kirie's daughter, she'd be able to put an end to her hatred. Talk about pushing your problems onto other people.
ほら、
Come on, stand up.
立ちな。そんなにこの島が大好きならしっかり深く埋めてあげるわよ。
If you like this island so much, I'll bury you deep in it.
その若さで死にたくないでしょ。
You don't want to die at your age,
母
right?
が迷惑をかけてすみませんでしたとか
Don't you
言
feel
って
like
みた
saying,
くはならない？
sorry my mom caused you so much trouble or something?
誰が言うもんか。
Who would ever say something like that? Thanks, NJ. Thanks, NJ.
エンジ様、ダメ。こいつらを挑発しちゃダメです。
She said, no, you mustn't provoke them.
ここは表向きだけでも調子を合わせて時間を稼ぐべきです。
Mammon is such a spineless bitch whenever she spawns under NJ. You should at least make it seem like you're going with them so you can buy some time.
くだらないプライドは
They often say
燃え
that
ないゴミの火に出しとけって。
you should throw your foolish pride out with the garbage. Lucifer, where are you? Wait, is Lucifer pride? I think Lucifer was pride, right?
天草さんは
What about Aksa-san?
天草さんが来てくれればきっ
He
と
comes, I'm sure.
ダメ。あいつの姿は見えないわ。
No use. I can't see him.
エンジ様のバカ。
NJ-sama, you idiot.
どうして天草を置いてきたんです？
Why'd you leave Aksa behind? I didn't need Mammon to tell me. I was seriously regretting it already. I walked a long way. The forest was very thick. I've no doubts that signs of activity here won't reach the boat. During the time it took for Kasumi to finish casually smoking a whole cigarette, I was continuously tormented by the black suits as she told him to. The moment I grabbed at my head, my scalp was kicked by someone at a bad angle. My head was filled with stars. The feeling of stars flickering in this gray, twisted world was one I remembered clearly. My life was similar to the one Kumadara Kasumi led. After all, as a successor to the family, I was tormented constantly, with various kinds of bullying under the guise of education and training. Yes. Having the inside of my head filled with stars like this is a feeling I know well. And being reprimanded for an error in manners I seem to have made, the discussion always turned to whether I was fit to be the successor or not. On and on about the honor of the Ashiramiya family and how deep that was. By the time the conversation reached that point, I'd forget what mistake I was being blamed for in the first place. In fact, it was the same for Aunt Ava. After all, she'd asked herself, what was it again? But in the end, she wouldn't be able to remember and would say something like,
私が怒っているということはきっとエンジェが何か悪い
if
ことを
I'm
した
angry,
の
it
だ
has to be your fault, NJ.
ならその悪いことが問題なのであって
The fact that you're at fault is what
何を
matters.
したかなんて今さら思い出せなくても
Who
問
cares
題
if I
ない
can't remember what it was you did? There'd be some ridiculous reasoning like that, and she'd keep on punishing me. Yeah. Aunt Ava's punishment wasn't something that would continue until I learned something or acknowledged my mistake or apologized. It would continue until Aunt Ava felt like stopping. But this violence was a bit nostalgic in a way that made me want to vomit. I opened my eyes and look, there's Aunt Ava. Right next to Kasumi, who's smoking a cigarette. I can see Aunt Ava almost as though the two of them are laughing together. When I think about it, even Aunt Ava's life might be a thing worthy of my sympathy. The responsibility and pressure of being a member of the family, which she often mentioned to me, probably caused her great pain. After all, people can't make insults they've never been the target of themselves. Except she made all her decisions herself. She obsessed with being the family head, right? And in this route, killed basically her whole family to get all the money, so... I don't feel like she's suffered from anything other than a feeling of inadequacy because she wasn't born first. Which is a pretty shitty reason to do pretty much everything she did. It's probably the same for Aunt Rosa as well. As the youngest child of the Honorable Ushiromiya family, she must have gone through a lot of tough times. I feel worse for Rosa. It was just like what Aunt Ava did to me, just like what Sumadera Kasumi is doing now. Aunt Rosa must have been the same. People tend to push the pain they're burdened with onto other people, otherwise they can never escape the pain. On and on, in eternity and perpetuity, the chain of pain and sadness doesn't end. And that's why Maria One-chan's magic was so incredible. With her magic, she didn't have to bear the pain caused by Aunt Rosa. The pain probably was pushed on her. Its weight probably tormented her. But One-chan didn't carry that burden on her own shoulders. She purified it and filled her world with happiness. So I'm sure, if Maria One-chan had children in the future, she probably wouldn't have pushed that pain that had been forced onto her children. The chain of pain and sadness that stretches back for who knows how long, which she couldn't understand and which she had inherited, had been forced on her. Maria One-chan cut it with her magic.
Nani?
Strong.
私に何か文句でもあるの?
By the way, I'm like very mid on all these villains because of how Higurashi ended. Like, I don't really care. It's like, they got some sad backstory, they're gonna get a good ending, so who cares? Like, you don't like Kasumi? Don't expect anything bad to happen to Kasumi. Kasumi is gonna get like a gold medal and 30 billion yen. From her parents or some shit. Like, she's gonna get the best ending you've ever seen. So, don't even bother being like, wow, this person's evil, I hope they get beaten. Like, it's not gonna happen. It's not that kind of game. In the past, I would have snapped back, I would have met her hatred with hatred so they'd cancel each other out. This guy likes giving all his villains good endings. In every situation. Nothing got canceled out. The thing being forced on me ended up right there on my shoulders. Just like how even now I hate her. In fact, that's his rule, right? He went on a big-ass rant about how everyone, no matter how villainous, deserves a great ending, so... Or deserves a happy ever after, so... And don't have any enthusiasm for the ending. Just be, like, very neutral on this. You're like, it's a scene that's playing out for the sake of the scene playing out. It might even be retconned in 4 chapters, who knows. So now that I know of magic, I'll look at the human called Ushiromiya Eva again. What I could see through to was a sad human, a bit different from me, who lost her family, who bore deep wounds in her heart. Unable to withstand the pain of that torn heart, she was doing nothing more than howl sadly, like a lion crying in pain, like a child. Even Ushiromiya Eva was someone you should have felt compassion for. She needed someone to understand the difficulties and pain of her childhood years, even she who was the only survivor of the Rakenshima crime, who was faced with the curiosity of all society, publicly slandered, forced to have salt flung into the wound. Again, she's like salty about the attention, but she did kill a whole bunch of people, so like, I'm not sure how bad I'm supposed to feel about you for this. It's like, it's not like I lack empathy, but I mean, I don't, it's really hard to have any empathy for these characters. Especially when the author wants you to go into this series with the assumption that they're all gonna get good endings, so you're like, okay, well, man, that's rough, but Ava's gonna have a really good ending where she gets more money than she thought she'd ever get, and she gets her perfect family and inheritance it, like, and who the fuck knows. Like, the only question is how she gets a perfect ending. In order to get, maybe she just gets over everything and doesn't care about the inheritance, I guess. In order to let Ava forget her pain and sadness a little, the Black Witch taught her magic, like the times it possessed Rosa. It was the same magic of anger and sadness that Beatrice taught Maria when she was mourning in her torn-apart friend Sactaro. The same magic the witch had dwelt upon inside Aunt Rosa too. And that's why any scene that focuses on people being villains in this series is so incredibly boring. They are the worst scenes, because it doesn't matter how villainous he makes them if he's going to make them good people in the end and be like happily ever after for them. Like, yeah, cool. They're supposedly a villain, and you're building them up like a villain, but it doesn't matter because they're actually the character who gets like a good arc and a good ending too. Like, you aren't building them up as a villain to see them defeated, because they're never going to be defeated. They're only ever going to win in a different way. Great. Is why these scenes feel somewhat pointless. I'm sure there's some point, but it's like, or sorry, not this scene in particular, but like the previous scene with Kasumi. I'm like, I don't care about the scene with Kasumi. Kasumi's being Reen. Okay, that's fine. We'll wait until like chapter 8. She's getting her good ending anyway. Like she's the villain of this arc, so she'll get a success story later. The same magic that witch probably dwelt inside Aunt Rosa too. So I mustn't hate Ushiramiya Eva, maybe. I should have become her ally as the one person in the world who could understand her. What did I say to her when I was young when she returned alive all alone? Could it be that I acted as though she killed my family and returned on her own? I mean, based on all the evidence, that's probably the case, unless you want to go with the witch theory. Oh, the witch killing everyone. I can't believe it. Aunt Ava, who'd never been more than an object of and synonym for hatred throughout my life, is turning into a human I can understand, so... I can see right next to Ava the form of the Black Witch who taught her the black magic. Aunt Ava was crying. It was only natural. Not only was no one willing to understand the pain of losing her husband and son at once, but her only relative insulted her, saying, "Give me back my dad and mom." Yeah, well, Aunt Ava is supposed to be an adult, and she's clearly not acting like one, so who cares? I can make the excuse I was merciless because of my youth, however, to her at the time, it probably was cruel enough to sever the last thread of something or other. I guess I have to go back. In her heart, sure. In the following days, the talk shows and magazines publicly slandered her, the truth of her husband's business and character, and her beloved son were negated. Yep. She no longer had anything left. She could do nothing but cry and howl, trying to forget the pain and sadness for a while. After all, she could only feel a tiny bit of release, and only during the time that she howled. By beating the shit out of you, I guess. Okay. And so the Black Witch taught her to howl. The one I hated was the Black Witch. Black magic can probably release one from pain for an instant. However, it never lifts the weight from a person's shoulders. On the contrary, it forces weight onto more victims, filling the world with hatred. If only Aunt Ava knew of white magic and had a true witch nearby. Shouldn't that have been me? Didn't I learn the magic to create happiness from Maria One-chan? Yeah, how'd that go for Maria One-chan? Didn't she... her mother hated her in the end. Conclusion, not very successful. If I'd taught her with that magic, could we have built a future with a completely different relationship? I don't know. It started out pretty hostile coming from Ava. And honestly, it probably wasn't a bad call considering she did all the things that she was accused of doing. Up until now, I hated Aunt Ava constantly, so I didn't notice the Black Witch beside her. Without love, it couldn't be seen. I didn't have any love for her, so finally, I'll glare at the Black Witch, the one I truly should hate. What's this? See me?
見えるわ。
That's right. All the evils of humanity can be expressed as people who aren't them, and nothing is their fault. All right. Everything people do is not their fault if they do something mean or bad. That's short. Sure. It's a great philosophy. I love it. I love this guy's philosophy. It's like, Hitler kills 6 million Jews because he hates Jews, and you're just like, Hitler was just having a bad day. If only someone held his hand when he got rejected from art school, he'd be okay. Now I know he's in the middle of killing all the gays and Jews, but hey, if we just like walk up to him and say, hey bro, can you stop? He'll be like, oh, that's a great idea. And we can all walk away. He can retire as, he can live until he dies as ruler of Germany. And everyone will be happy. Like, all we gotta do is just do that. Never mind the bodies. The bodies are fine. You know, they probably deserve that or something. I don't fucking know. But, like, that's the rationale, I guess. The rationale in this series is always there's no judgment for anyone bad. There should be no reckoning or judgment for anything people do. And while you could say having some empathy or understanding is a reasonable thing to do for just about everyone, you should probably understand there are things you shouldn't do regardless. But oh well. I'm so glad people don't follow this guy's philosophy. The one I should have hated wasn't Aunt Ava. It's you. Ah, yes. You think a lowly human could see a witch like you? Yes, it's some fictitious. Yeah, she's saying this aspect of Ava, which should be what she hated. Yeah, she's saying she shouldn't hate Ava because Ava's innocent. That's what she's saying, not just some other force. She's saying blame it on externalities and just be understanding regardless of what people do to you, which is a really shitty philosophy. Like, oh, well, someone else was mean to her at one point, so she's justified in literally anything. It's like, oh man. It's like, oh man, this one kid tripped you in school, so I guess you're justified pulling out a gun and killing killing everyone in the fucking school. Like, okay. School shooter is justified. Anyway, we shouldn't put this kid in jail. We should just let him go because he's a troubled kid. Like, okay, yeah, sure, go with that. Like, that's how Rikishi sees things. Is just like, oh well, they had a bad time. You know, they had a bad day. They killed 20 people. Well, let's let him go. You know, if we just let him go enough times, and he kills enough people, he'll probably stop eventually. You know, just let him do his thing. You know. Understand that he's had a bad day. Like, you can't really live like that in society, but hey, it's the magical world of this guy's story. Think a lowly human could see a witch like me, so that's the opposite of what Ange is saying. That's literally that's literally the author's philosophy, dude. And she's saying, oh man, I was wrong. She's saying, oh man, I was wrong to hate Ava for being such a fucking bitch. I should have just been like, ah, it's a magic witch. It's a magic witch that's a result of other people bullying her that I should be like irritated at. And you're like, yeah, okay. Just be like, oh, Ava, do whatever you like. You're totally justified in that. You know, maybe we'll ask you to put the brakes and look for another thing later, but hey, just do whatever you like. It's fucking stupid. Like, well, I'll ask you to put the brakes when when bodies start dropping, but you know, it's okay. We understand. Like, oh, it's fine. You can keep doing this. You just ask nicely. Just ask nicely and your bully will stop. It always works. You don't think that's what he's saying? That is unironically what he said in the previous title. And like even had a literal author moment where in the post credits where he went on a rant about how that was true. She's saying she missed her chance to help Ava, instead she made Ava worse? Yeah, that's what she's saying. But she's saying I shouldn't have been mad at Ava for treating me poorly, and I'm like, okay, sure. She's saying she shouldn't have been mad at Ava for treating her poorly. She's blaming the witch, quote unquote witch, instead of her, and the witch is basically the result of her frustrations at being treated poorly. And I'm like, okay. But I mean, Ava in universe is supposedly a real person. and an adult who is capable of making her own decisions. So you should be able to blame her for her poor decision-making skills. It's like you can understand that someone has problems or like unresolved trauma and still blame them for things. There's nothing wrong with that, but this Ange is saying she shouldn't. He's arguing for de-escalation. Yeah, he's arguing that a 6-year-old should have been. He's arguing that a 6-year-old should have been wiser than literally every person around them. And should have been like basically omniscient, because you would also have to have like full knowledge of everything happened to your parents and understand it while you're at the wonderful ripe old age of 6 years old. Bad argument in this case. It's like I don't even know who you are, but I expect if you're a 6-year-old and you're expecting if you're like a friggin' toddler and you're expecting your parents to come back after they're away, and some relative stranger just shows up and is like they're not coming back, you're probably gonna ask for your mom or dad, okay? That's usually what like little kids do when they're scared. But apparently that's like super offensive and she should have known better. And she's like blaming herself for this. I mean, it's okay to blame yourself for not being good enough to recognize any issues you caused. Any issues you might have exacerbated or caused, but you also have to realize that she's not only was she a child then, but in Japanese law, and that's why she's getting the shit beaten out of her by Sumidera, is she's actually a child and not legally responsible for anything she fucking does. Okay? In Japan, I know she's 18, but in Japan, you're only an adult when you're 20. That's why the inheritance money is under the control of Sumidera, as long as Miss Sumidera has Ushiramiya under her boot, okay? So, like, even if we say all these things, she's actually not responsible for any of that. Like, she has no responsibility for any of this stuff. She's like saying, I could have been better by maybe doing this. But I don't think I can reasonably expect someone like that, especially if you want to add like 2+ years to the expected ages. Or add 2 years, or like subtract 2 years from everyone's effective maturity and age. So if I say, okay, you're an adult at 18, you should do this. If I subtract 2 years from that, because that's how Japanese society is thinking at this point, then that's saying at 6 years, she's effectively a 4-year-old mentally by the law. So I'm saying, like, there's no way you would ever know that. Anyway. Below the wishing sea, are you trying to say something in the protect layer? Do you hate me?
憎い？
Hate?
ええ、憎い
I
わ。でも、少し違う。
Not quite it.
悲
I
し
think
く
you're
思え
sad.
る。
悲しい
Sad?
ってんのいいじゃない怒れ
What are
ば
you saying? Go ahead.
思いっきり憎んじゃえば
Why don't you hate me as much as you want?
憎まないわ。あんた
I
を
don't
憎む
hate
こと
hating
は、
you.
エヴァおばさんの憎しみをそのまま受け継ぐだけ。
It means I'm doing nothing more than inheriting Aunt Ava's hatred.
私は憎しみを断ち切る。
I'll put a stop to
エヴァおば
hatred.
さんの苦しみを受け止め、
I'll
それを
accept Aunt Ava's pain,
払って
purify it, and throw it
捨てるの。
away. Mm-hmm. No commentary.
何悟ったようなこと言ってるわけ
What kind of epiphany do you think you've had?
こいつ
Is your
頭
head
た
alright?
ていうかへそでも噛んで死んじゃえば
Seriously, if you just give up and die?
あんたらもっともっと蹴ってやりなさい
Yeah, kick her more and more,
顔
okay?
とかはダメよ
Not the face,
気
though.
の毒な顔がマシになっちゃったらつまんない
It'd be boring if her pitiful face got better. The black saints persistently kicked my stomach and back, as though they'd been ordered to by the Black Witch.
やれやれ答えないね
Hi, Ma, are you still not suffering after all that?
私をじーっと見ちゃって
You keep staring right at me.
私が憎い
You hate me?
憎いでしょ
How about you do?
私もよ
Same here. Asumi sneered at me, but for some reason I had the feeling she's crying behind the expression, and just like me, the pain of being forced into an unreasonable life would never ever heal. I like how Kasumi's definition of an unreasonable life is not having infinite money and living a life of luxury. Curious how that works. It's kind of like, it's not even, it's like, that's an unreasonable request, but okay. Like, oh man, she was thrust into this cold, brutal life, the life literally every single other person on the planet leads. It's unreasonable to... It's so unreasonable, and you're like, Kasumi is literally super fucking entitled, but okay. A sad lion gasping in pain from the thorn he can't get out continues to howl.
ほら、スマデラかすみ、見てごらんな
If
さい。
anything, I think Sumadera Kasumi's living a pretty good life considering she can just, like, torture random kids whenever she wants to, so... She has, I assume she's another Yakuza branch family. So she's got, like, what she can, this is the 60s in Japan, or this is 90s in Japan? The tail end of the Yakuza's era, but she's apparently still able to go beat kids up on islands, so that seems good. You got like 20 minions, you can still take out your anger on whoever you want, axe
かつて
whoever you
のあん
want,
たがそこにいる
throw them
わ
in the Pacific. Look, Kasumi, take a look. Oh, there, it's you as you used to be.
気分が晴れるでしょ
Don't you feel
う。
better
か
now?
つてそこにいたあなたが今度はこっち側にいるのよ
You used to be standing there, but now you're on this side, right? Isn't it
立場
great?
が逆になるのは
Don't you like having the roles switched?
本当に愉快だわ。
How can you make that kind of
泣
face,
きな
Ange?
さいよ。泣きたいんでしょ
Go ahead and cry if you want to, right?
そうそう
Yes, yes,
泣
of
きたい
course.
に
She
決まっ
wants
て
to
る
cry.
泣かせちゃいなさい
Make her cry.
あの時のあんたは泣かされちゃったじゃない
Didn't someone make you cry
だ
back
から
then?
こいつも泣かせてやりなさいよ
You too,
エンジェも
Ange.
いいのよ泣いちゃえば
If only you just break down and cry.
泣きなさいよ、エンジェ。
Cry,
あんたの
Ange.
泣き顔が見たい
I want to see your
のよ。
crying
泣い
face.
て、ごめんなさい、かすみおばさんって言ってごら
Try,
んなさ
try
い
saying,
よ。
I'm sorry, Aunt Kasumi.
そうその言葉を言わせるのよ
Yes, make her say
あ
those
の
words.
言葉辛いでしょ
Aren't those words
自
painful?
分のせいじゃないことを謝らせられるのって本当に辛かったでしょ
Isn't being made to apologize for something that isn't your fault just the worst pain?
同じ思いをさせてやるのよ
Make her feel
そ
the
うす
same
る
way?
ことで
By doing
あ
that?
なたの
You
痛
can
み
relieve
は
your
和
pain?
らげることができるの
Nah, nah. We're just gonna take this beating and go back to the boat and be like, I fell down some stairs. We need to be understanding of Kasumi's situation. We wouldn't want her to actually go to jail or anything. That'd be crazy. Yeah, that's
もっと自分に素直になりなさい
be a bit more honest with
も
yourself.
っともっといっぱいに自分の感情を吐き出しちゃえ
If you just let your emotions run free more and more. The Black Witch provoked Kasumi, and Kasumi began giving herself over to the dark emotion. By turning deep sadness into an evil alcohol and forcing it down, trying to forget just for an instant, nothing would change. The words Kasumi insulted me with were themselves sad. And I couldn't forgive the Black Witch who imposed that sadness on Kasumi. I'd gone limp, which seemed to have stopped the Black Suit's kicking competition, or maybe the kickers were getting tired too. Kasumi didn't order them to stop, but at some point they did. However, I was reflected in Kasumi's eyes, and they burned me with flames of hatred. She'd been tempted by the witch to do that in order to relieve her own pain.
スマデラかすみ
Sumidera,
まだよ
you aren't done.
まだまだ踏みにじりなさい
You have more trampling
あ
to
な
do,
たの
right?
人生はこんなほんのちょっとの乱暴で許せるの
Can you forgive what happened to you your entire life with a little violence?
許せないわ。まだこれくらいでは許せないんだから。
Still can't forgive her with just this.
でしょ許せるわけがない
There's no way you can
も
forgive
っ
her.
とよ
Do
も
it
っと
more.
憎悪の炎を
More of the
憎しみ
flame.
の炎でしかあなたは暖を取れないの
Nothing can warm you but except the fires of
怒
hate.
りと悲しみの雪原で凍えるあなたを温められる炎は憎しみだけなのよ
That was a surprisingly long sentence in Japanese. After being frozen in the snowfields of anger and sadness, the only flame that can warm you is hatred.
ほら言って
Say it.
叫
Okay.
んで
Scream it.
憎しみの方向で自分を燃やし尽くしちゃえば
Only you just burn yourself to the ashes with a roar of hate.
後ろ宮エンジ
Okay.
あんたを憎まなくちゃ。
I cannot live
私
without
は生
hating
き
you.
てられない。
スマデラかすみあの花束を
Sumidaira Kasumi, look at the bundle of
これ
flowers.
死んだ家族への花でしょ、エンジェ。
These flowers are for your dead family, right, Ange? The Black Witch grinned at me unpleasantly, using her chin to signal Kasumi to pick it up. Kasumi picked up the flowers I was going to offer, brought them all the way over to me, and dropped them and made a show of trampling them. Her expression was filled with hatred and a frantic quality that couldn't be explained with hatred alone. She trampled them over and over again as though her sadness was reaching the bursting point. So the sound of her trampling it was just sad.
あら、この程度じゃ答
Still
えな
not
い？
suffering yet?
ならこっちは答えるかしら。
What's this?
スマデラかすみ、
Sumidaira
こっち
Kasumi?
を使いなさい。
Who's this?
それは。
Not that. The object the Black Witch pointed out was Mari One-chan's grimoire. Kasumi also noticed it, picked up the book, which was heavier than it looked.
なにこ
What's
れ。
this?
読んじゃえば。
I'm not reading.
お腹がよじれちゃうか
You
もね。
might fall over laughing, okay? Kasumi opened the grimoire, skimmed the contents, and snorted derisively.
返して。
Give it back.
それはお姉ちゃんの。
That's One-chan. Of course, my hand couldn't reach. My stomach was once again kicked by the black suits, and I doubled over.
ほらね、この本はエンジェにとっての大
The book's
切なも
important
の
to
でし
Ange,
ょ。
right?
大切なものをけなしてやりなさい。
You gotta belittle the things that are important to her, okay?
こういう子には殴る蹴るよりもそっちの方が効くんだ
It'll
か
work
ら。
better than punching or kicking for a girl
あ
like
な
me.
たがそれを一番よく知っているでしょ。
You know better than anyone, don't you? As though remembering something painful, Kasumi's face twisted for an instant, but it quickly disappeared, changing into a scornful smile directed at me. That's not normally how people like this act, but alright.
なにこの気持ち悪い
What a creepy
本。
book.
あんたが書いたの？
Did she write this?
やめて。返して。
No, give it back.
見てよあの顔。
Look at that
もっ
face.
とけなしてやりなさい。貶としめてやりなさい。
Belittle it more, belittle it more.
尊厳を踏みにじられる苦痛を教えてやるのよ。そうすることでしかあなたの苦痛は和らがないの。
Teach her the pain of having your dignity trampled. It's the only way to soften her own pain.
何これ恥ずかしい
What's with this embarrassing book? I mean, didn't she say it was like One-chan? So whoever she sees as One-chan's, she sees it as. Oh well, Sumidaira's probably not paying attention.
本。少女の時代に多少は占いの真似事に興味を持つこともあるけれど、
I'll admit I had a bit of interest in fortune telling as a girl.
これはちょっと行き過ぎじゃない？
It's going a bit far.
やだ、魔法だってあんた、あれでしょ。
You're one of those,
アニ
aren't
メ
you?
とかのなんとかなんとかって呪文を言いながら魔女に変身するやつ。
It's like in those cartoons where girl says something something spell and transforms into a witch,
ああ
right?
いうの好きなんでしょ。
You like those, don't
痛
you?
々しいわ。
How pathetic. Cackling, Kasumi opened to a random page and showed it to the black suits. They looked too and guffawed. The sneer didn't wound me, but I couldn't forgive it. After all, the sneer was ridiculing Mari One-chan. I don't hate Kasumi. But forcing that unhealing anger and sadness on Kasumi, I can't forgive the Black Witch. Ah, yes, it's all the Black Witch's fault. The Black Witch ate into Aunt Ava, Sumidaira Kasumi, and Aunt Rosa, tormenting them for an eternity without letting their wounds be healed. I can't forgive her. I can't forgive the Black Witch.
何これ？
That is great.
お空から飴玉を降らせる魔法。
Magic for making candy fall from the sky, you say?
何何？
What's
お
this?
日様で清めたお水にお砂糖を溶いて、
Sprinkle water cleansed by the sun with sugar?
魔法の杖を浸して呪文を。
Stick the magic staff in an incantation?
何こ
The hell?
れ？痛い。
It hurts. The black suits were also rolling around, guffawing. Then the grinning black witch whispered something into Kasumi's ear. After glaring with a grin, she took that page and ripped it out. She grabbed hold of the page, tore it off, crumpled it, and threw it away.
ひどいよ。それはマリアの魔
That
法。
was Maria's magic.
あら、そうなの？
Oh, really? That's sad.
それはお気の毒。
It was one of the spells to summon happiness that Mario made with Saktaro. Anyone knows that making sugar water, coloring it, and leaving it by the window isn't going to make candy fall from the sky. But after repeating that every day, one time on her way home from school, she found several pieces of candy scattered around. How happy had that miracle have made Mario One-chan? Didn't she treasure the candy, eating it during her night alone with Saktaro to distract her from her loneliness? That magic that One-chan had given birth to. It'd been torn and thrown away. Ah, it's okay, it's just a book. You can write another spell. And it disappeared. The whole miracle of happiness that magic had given birth to is just a book. If your philosophy is presently that you should just ignore everything and cope as hard as humanly possible to believe everything's okay, then, I mean, it doesn't really matter if the spell is real or not. You can just make a new spell if you need to. If you like having a grimoire. It's more important that Kasumi, you know, you just, like, get to do this or whatever. It'd been torn and thrown away.
これも傑作だわ。
This part's great too.
晩ご飯をクリームコロッケにする魔法。
Magic to make tonight's dinner cream croissant.
次は何？
What's next?
ピー
What's
マン
next?
が美味しく食べられる魔法。
Magic to make bell peppers taste good? You don't like the taste of bell peppers? Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
これもい
I
け
think
そ
the
う。
red ones are good.
バカバカしい。
That's not bad either.
それも破いちゃいなさ
Yeah, that too.
どんどん破いちゃえば
Well, you just tear it more and more. With a brutal, loud laugh, the Black Witch made Mario One-chan's spells get torn out one after the other. The magic of happiness was sneered at, torn, and thrown away. I mean, if the magic only represents a philosophy to you, I mean, it would be nice, but it's not like there's anything super important in there. Don't defile Mario's magic. Don't defile with your filthy toxin. Alright. Mammon cried and yelled, but she had no way of reaching
いいじゃな
Kasumi.
い怪我されちゃえば
What? Why
魔
not?
法の奇跡
Miracles of magic.
幸せにする魔法
Magic to bring happiness?
ないないそんなのないってば
No way, nothing like that exists.
痛みと苦しみはね他人に押し付けてしか癒せないのよ
Don't you know you can't heal pain and sadness without pushing it onto
あ
someone
んたは
else?
確か魔法のお友達とかいうやつだったわよね
He also had those magic friend things, right?
スマデラかすみこいつ
Kasumi,
のペ
open to
ー
that
ジを開
page.
きなさい
これは何？
What's this?
魔法のお
Magic
供
friends?
天国の七姉妹？
The Seven Sisters of Purgatory?
物騒な
Creepy.
名前。すごい速さで飛んで敵をやっつけてくれるんです。
It says they can fly at awesome speeds and finish off the enemy.
エンジェ、あなたこんな魔法が使えるなら今すぐ使った方がいいんじゃない？
Ange, if you can use this kind of magic, shouldn't you use it right now?
くだらない。
Foolish. Page that wrote of the Seven Sisters was heartlessly torn away. The page itself was just paper, it wasn't Mammon's vessel or anything. But the tearing, denying toxin burned Mammon from the inside. Mammon's face twisted from that heat and pain.
大丈夫マモン
Are you okay, Mammon?
しっかり
Hold on.
これくらい
This much is no problem.
私より
It's not me, but Ange who's in
エ
pain.
ンジ様の方が
However, Mammon's expression was twisted with unbearable anguish and humiliation. If only rejecting them actually worked when they were trying to kill you. That would be real handy if you could just say to the sisters they didn't exist and they'd be like, ah! Burning! Alas, they just murder you instead.
やめろ黒き魔女
Stop it, Black Witch.
どうして君はそんなことをするんだよ
Why are you doing something like this?
どうして魔法を幸せのために使え
Why
ないん
can't
だ
you
よ
use magic for happiness? Who knows? Maybe magic.
あんたも魔法のお友達ね
Oh, you're a magic friend too?
あんたも怪我してあげるわ
Well, you're up next.
スマデ
I'll
ラかす
defile
み
you too.
こいつのページも探しなさい
Sumadera, Kasumi, look for this guy's page too, okay?
こっちは何？
Oh, what's this one?
何この下手くそなライオンの落書き。
What's this crappy scribble of a line?
サク太郎？
Doctaro.
変な名前。
What a weird name.
一番大好きなお友達だ。
My best friend, it
そう
says.
なの？
Really?
これがあんたの友達？
Is this your friend? A close one?
このライオンが？
The lion? Is it? Is it? It's 1998, never mind. I was gonna say she should have scanned these things if they were that important, but I realized it was 98, and I'm like, yeah, maybe having a scanner isn't realistic. A fax machine, maybe.
本当に下手くそな落書き。
Really is a crappy
こ
scribble.
んな不細工なライオンがあんたなのね。
Ugly lion's totally you.
こんなのを友達にしてるなんて、後ろ宮マリアってこの
she does know it's
頭のかわいそうさに呆れて、へそでお茶が湧いちゃう
For
わ。
a second, I thought Kasumi was actually reading that to realize that it was Ashira Miyamaria's and not someone else's. Anyway, to think she had something like this in a friend, that is Shira Miyamaria's kid's mind. So pathetic, it's embarrassing. What a joke. She's like, she's like a moron.
死んじゃえば。
If only she'd just give up and die. I mean, she is dead, so that kind of worked.
うりゅマリアを
Don't make fun of
バ
Mario.
カにするな。
Stop
め
it.
破かないで。
Don't break it. Too late.
ダメ。
No way. There was a shrill sound. The page had been filthily ripped out. The picture of Saktaro that One-chan had drawn, had hopes, I almost missed that, was violently ripped in half. What a crappy picture.
お前たちも笑いなさい。
You all laugh too, okay? Pair of the black suits laughed vulgarly and heartlessly trampled the two halves that had been torn and thrown away.
サクタロしっかり。
Saktaro, hang in there.
僕は
I'm not
らし
sad.
くなんかただ
I just can't stand
悔
it.
しマリアのことを
I
バ
can't
カに
stand
され
it.
て何も言えない自分が
Maria's being made fun of.
悔しい。
I can't do anything about it. It's okay. Your friends are always here with you, Ange. Doctaro and Mammon are right there with you. It's all fine. Let her do whatever she wants, and when she's done, you can go home. Or go somewhere. I don't know. He might take you somewhere. Who knows? It's okay. Just go harder.
私たちは
The humans who can't see us.
見えない人間に
It's
は
as though we don't exist.
私たちは必要としてくれる
We
人
only
間としか
interact with humans that need us.
だから
That's why we're furniture. As Saktaro and Mammon supported each other, they crouched down, sobbing. I couldn't stand it either. Those who can't see how wonderful the world of magic is can't understand it. You can't explain to humans who can't understand, so it gets belittled. If you could show them it, but you can't. Because in front of humans who are filled with magic-resisting toxin and can't understand magic, magic can't be used.
本当にわけがわかんな
I
い
really
わ。
don't get it.
この妄想日記、頭がおかしいとしか思えない。
This delusional diary, I've got to assume something's wrong with
あ
your
んた
head.
のお花畑の頭の中が垣間見えて、本当に面白
Really
い
fun
わ
to。take a peek into your mind.
気持ち悪い子。
Creepy child.
あんたもマリアも
Both you and Mario.
そこのぬいぐるみと家具もね
And that stuffed animal in the furniture over there too, right? I
お
could
か
laugh.
しいわ。
Wait, haven't you laughed? You could say I could laugh at this, but it's too pathetic, but like you're saying I could laugh forever maybe?
あんた、友達いないんでしょ。
You don't have any friends, do
い
you?
っつも一人ぼっちで、ぬいぐるみがお友達なんでしょ。
You're always alone, so stuffed animals are your
か
friends?
わいそうな子。
What a pitiable child.
大丈夫。
Don't worry, I
私
understand.
そういう生活。
I know what it's like to live that
だ
way.
から私が
I'll
認
accept
め
it.
あんた。本当にかわいそうな子よ。
I'll accept it. You really are a pitiable child, right? You probably would look like something made by a pitiful child, that's right. If 100 people were to read One-chan's diary, 100 people would probably think the same thing. I used to be like that too, but you know, despite all that, Mario One-chan summoned a world of happiness. Don't deny that magic, that happiness.
頑固な子ね、あんたは。
It's just stubborn child.
いい
You
わ。
are. Very well.
これで最後よ。
It's the
あ
last
んたと
one.
マリアの信じた本当にくだらない魔法の根源を引き
I'll
裂
tell
い
you
てあ
about the
げるわ
source
よ
of。the truly foolish magic you and Mario believed in.
スマデラかすみ。そのペ
How about
ー
this
ジを読
page,
みなさい。
Sumadera? Read this page, okay?
なに
What's this
この
colorful
カラ
page?
フルなページは。なになに
What's this?
大好きなママ
Magic
と
to
いつまでも仲良しでいられる魔法。
always be friends with my beloved mother?
やめてそのページだけは
Not that page?
この魔法すんごく簡単じゃない。
This magic's simple, isn't it?
私でもすぐできそうだわ。
It's like even I could do it.
こんなに短い呪文なら
Even I could
私
remember
だ
an
って覚え
incantation
られ
this
ちゃ
short.
う。やってみようかしら。
Shall I give it a whirl? It really is a short
本当
incantation,
に
isn't
簡
it?
単な呪文よね。いいわよ。
Alright,
や
give
っ
it
てあ
a
げ
try.
なさい。
Let's have
みん
everyone
なも
spit it
吹き
out.
出しちゃうから。
With expressions that ridiculed it from the bottom of their hearts, the Black Witch and Kasumi tapered their mouths, and they said it aloud.
うう。
Ooh. Oh, really? That's an interesting line. It's magic to, always be friends with your beloved mother. Ooh, ooh. Interesting. The black suit stared blankly, asking what the hell that's supposed to be. Then Kasumi answered, cackling.
これがね、呪文なんだって。
It's supposed to be an incantation?
おかし
Are you
い。
kidding me? I did not know that one. That's a good one to know. At least, I think the most productive thing we've gotten out of this this scene is actually that why Mario says ooh ooh all the time. Interesting. Good to know. I'm glad we're getting this opportunity to go through her spell book.
れば
Come on, why don't you guys try too?
ううう。
The black suits imitated the moaning voice, making fun of it. It was the incantation for the magic that would always let her be friends with her beloved mother. Well, that's sad.
なにこのバカみた
How
いなの。
stupid.
うう言うだけで家族仲が良くなるなら世界はずっと平和だわ。
If you could make family relationships better by just saying ooh, the world would always be peaceful.
うううう。バカなうなり
That stupid moaning voice.
こんなの連呼してたら頭のかわいそうなこと思われるのがオチよ。
Too bad if you do this over and over again, people will think you're a pathetic, stupid kid.
バカじゃ
Are
ない
you a moron?
やめろその魔法だけはけなさないで
Stop it. At least don't belittle that magic. I'm glad we got to read that page. I don't know if that makes the whole scene worth it, but that was good. That's a good thing to know. Or like, not good, but like a useful tidbit to know. It was the day of a picnic when Mario, One-chan, and Aunt Rosa were alone. It was written that this was... one of the top 5 happiest days of her life. One-chan was singing a song she'd just learned from her mama. Her mother had been delighted. How's it going, guys? But partway through, Maria forgot the lyrics. But since she saw her mother was so happy, she tried to sing until the very end. With ooh. Even though she'd only pretended to know the lyrics, her mother had enjoyed it a lot. And after that, ooh remained as an incantation to remember that day she spent in fun and happiness with her mother. Of course, even though she seemed to find it funny at first, Rosa eventually tired of hearing it, and eventually started scolding One-chan when she said it. But to One-chan, it was the memory of a fun day she'd never forget. Among the spells Mario created, it was the oldest and first. Kasumi stuck her fingernails into that page too.
やめて。
Stop.
破かないで。
Don't tear it.
そのページだ
Don't
けは
tear
許して。
that page.
ダメ。
No way. With a shrill sound, a girl's world of happiness was erased.
うーうーうーこれがあんたらの幸
Is
せ
your
な魔
magic
法
of
なわ
happiness?
け。
I believe so.
ちゃう笑っちゃう。
It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
幸せになる魔法なんてね、あるわけないでしょ。
There's no way there could be magic to make you happy, right?
魔法はね、怒りとね、憎しみでできてるのよ。
Magic made out of anger and hatred, right? Magic's not real. It can be whatever you want it to be.
幸せってのはね、自分の背負わされた憎悪を人にすべて押し付けた時にのみ与えられる解放感を言うのよ。
Happiness is what you call the feeling of release you get when you push all the hatred you bear onto other people.
あんたたちの言う幸せなんて、絵本の中にしか出てこないまやかしなのよ。
The happiness you're talking about is the phantom that doesn't show up outside picture books. Maybe. As Kasumi laughed her head off, she slammed the grimoire against the ground and stepped on it.
悔しい？
Can't stand
ね
it.
え、悔しい？
Can't stand it, right? Well,
幸
you
せ
are
の
not
白
standing
き魔
right
女
now.
さんたち。
White witches of happiness?
そんなに悔しかったら見せて
You
みれ
can't
ば。
stand it that much? Why don't you show us?
あんたたちの魔法。
Show us your magic.
あるなら使ってみせればいいじゃない。
If it exists, then you just have to show us,
魔
right?
法が使えない魔女なんて魔女じゃない。
A witch who can't use magic isn't a
つ
witch.
まり本当の魔女は私たち。
That's why we're real witches.
あんたたちなんて魔法の夢で現実から逃避しているだけの
You're just
ク
brats
ソガキどもなのよ。
trying to escape reality within a dream? Or reality with a dream? I mean, that seems plausible. That seems
Yeah.
likely. Then,
魔法を私が見せることができ
if
た
I
な
can
ら
show you magic,
お姉ちゃんの魔法を
will you
信じてくれるの？
believe in One-chan's magic? Alright, that's a gamble. え Yeah,
信じるわよ。
sure, I'll believe.
魔法を使って見せることができた
If you can use magic and show me, that is.
ならね。ならやってみろよ、このクソボケガキ。
Let's see, you stupid brat. No, we're waiting for the other person to respond. Silently, slowly, I stood up. Sensations of this cramped world, such as this pain in my body, felt truly trifling.
あら、まだ立てる元気はあったのね。大魔女さん。
Looks like you got enough energy to stand up, Miss Grey Witch.
立ち上がって何をしてみせるの？
Now that you've stood up, what are you gonna show?
見せてみなさいよ。魔
Show us some
法。
magic.
魔法はあるわ。
Magic exists.
はあ？
ん？
この子何を言い出すかと思えば。
What's this kid
あ
saying?
んたたち、
You guys
今
hear
の
that?
聞いた？静かに。
Silence.
へえ、面白いじゃない。
Isn't that interesting?
半魔法の毒素を理由に、あんたたちはいつも奇跡の力を拒んできた。
You people always refuse to show this power of miracles because of the magic resisting
白き
constant.
魔女マリアの弟子。
Disciple of the White Witch Maria.
見せてみなさいよ。
Let's see
魔
some
法
magic.
を。一体どれだけの人間がその奇跡を信じて裏切られていったか知っている？
Do you have any clue how many humans believed in that miracle before being betrayed?
誰もが信じ、
Everyone believes.
誰もが裏切られて絶望した。
Everyone is betrayed in despair.
そして本当の魔法は私たち黒き魔女の力でしか得られないことを知るの
And
よ。
they learn that true magic can only be gained by the power of black witches like me. Well, alright, let's see where it goes.
憎しみを誰かにぶつけるのはただの
Hitting
罪。
someone with your hatred is nothing more than a sin.
そんなのは魔法じゃ
It
ない
isn't
わ。
really magical.
本当の魔法を。
I'll show you some real
私が見せて。
magic. The black witch winced slightly. However, Kasumi sneered at me even more.
なら見せてごらんなさいよ。それであんたはどの魔法を見せてくれるの？
What kind of magic will you show us?
飴玉を降らせる魔法？
Magic to make candy fall from the
それ
sky?
ともクッキーを増やす魔法？
Magic to make cookies multiply? The only magic we've seen out of her is safe fall. I mean she jumped off a skyscraper. It's a bit higher than safe fall, but wait, which class? Oh, that was upgraded safe fall in Legion. Never mind. That is a thing. Safe fall. You got safe fall on which spec got that? Was that Assassin that got safe fall like that? I think it was Assassin. I think it was Assassin Rogues that got in Legion that got the safe fall upgraded. Safe fall upgrade, or was it all of them? It might have been all of them. Like, safe fall was upgraded to have infinite height, so you could just jump off a fucking. You could jump off of Dalaran and fall all the way down. Well, actually, that was over. It was over the ocean at the time, but even if you weren't in there, you could go to like. You could jump off like the highest fucking mountain in the game and just be like, yeah, okay. Give me a minute, I gotta land. Keep walking. Land, keep walking. Mild inconvenience. Having to bend over when you land, do your 3-point landing. Good times. Magic to make cookies multiply? I mean, there's 0. 0 times 1 is still 0. I can do all the cookie multiplication magic I want. The instant I opened my eyes, a tremendous wind arose. What's this all of a sudden?
さあさあ、おいでなさい。
Come arise, Seven Sisters of Purgatory. What? There was a flash behind me in an instant. 7 pieces of high-level furniture were gathered there. It was a power that surpassed the magical strength I'd had in my prime. A power that matched even Maria One-chan and Beatrice.
煉獄の七姉妹、ここに。
Seven Sisters of Purgatory right here? Okay. Ange-sama?
エンジ様、
あなたはかつて言ったわ。
You said it once.
私に魔力と。
I
その
lack
覚悟
power
が
and
ないから
resolve.
あなたたちを刺激で
I
きなか
couldn't
った
use you
の
or
だ。
your sisters.
私をいじめるクラスメートに仕返しがしたいなんて、そんな安っぽい感情じゃない。
It's not a cheap emotion like wanting to get back at my bullying classmates.
私はマリアお姉ちゃんのマリアージュ・ソルシエールの世界を
In order
守
to
るた
protect
めに
Mario One-chan's Mariage Sorcier's
今こ
world,
そ魔法の奇跡を見せることを
I
命
order
令
you
す
to
る
show me the power of the miracle of magic.
無理です。
Impossible.
いくらなんでもこれだけ大勢の毒素
No
の
matter
前
what
で
you try before such a massive toxin. The Seven Sisters also remembered what happened in that classroom. If they could have obeyed Ange's order, they would have. However, surrounded by toxin that runs thick in humans, they hadn't been able to display the miracle of magic. And they remembered very well how deeply that hurt Ange. But Ange spoke quietly.
なら
In that
あな
case,
たたちも信じて
you all believe too?
マリアージュ・ソルシエールは人を幸せにするために生まれた。
Mariage Sorcier is created to bring people happiness.
そし
Alright.
てそれは黒き魔女と戦
And
うた
also
め
to
でもあ
fight
っ
the
た。
Black Witch.
その創立者の一人原初の
In
魔
order to
女
show that miracle
マ
to
リ
the
ア
foolish
キュッ
Black
ソの
Witch,
奇跡を見せ
who denies the world that one of the founders, the Witch of Origins, Lady Maria, gave birth
その
to.
世界を守るために
And in order to protect that
信
world,
じて
believe
魔法を
in magic.
魔女を
NJ is now the main character. Well, I mean, I don't always agree with her philosophy, but I think she's cooler than Battler. Or maybe she's just less dumb than Battler? I don't know. I don't know, man. Battler, I don't know if you can top Battler erasing himself from existence because he can't comprehend a scenario in which he's a member of a family but is not related to the person he thought he was his mother. Like, it baffles the mind. Oh. He might have gone a step too far. You can't say NJ's incompetent. Yeah, you gotta be careful. Trying to say red text will do that to you. You can't red text NJ being incompetent. Now you can red text NJ has poor social skills. That one's probably doable, but still. She's doing alright. In order to protect the world, believe in magic and witches.
今こそ
In miracles
奇
right
跡
now.
を
When Kasumi gave an order to the Blackthieves, one of them took out a gun and pointed it at NJ.
魔法を見せてくれるんでしょ？
Feels though it's magic, right?
なら見せてちょう
Let's
だい。
have it.
魔法で火の玉でも稲妻でも打ち出して この男を倒してみせなさいよ。
Use magic to shoot this man down with a fireball or lightning or some shit.
チャンスは
You
1
get
度。
one chance.
3つ数えるうちにやっておみせなさ
Show us before I count to 3, okay?
い。できなければ覚悟してもらう
If
わ
you
よ。
can't, you'd best prepare yourself, alright? This would be, you know, this is gonna be funny, isn't it? Is this gonna be, I'm curious if she jumps down, or if she just like, or if it's just like, bam, he dies because he got fucking shot by, Amakusa, who's like hiding on the next hill. Like half a click out with his rifle. Just like, just capping people as they draw on her, and she's like, wow, it's like magic. That'd be funny. But you know, if she just jumps down and survives, that'd also be cool. We'll see where we go. Show us before I count to 3. If you can't, then you best prepare yourself, alright? I'm prepared.
撃ちなさいよ。
なんだこのガキ。
What's with this kid?
行かれてやるぜ。
The black suit pointing the gun at NJ laughed at NJ's detached attitude.
本気？
Are you
こ
serious?
いつ頭の中までお
She's
花が
lost
咲
her
いてなら撃たれなさいよ。死んじゃえば。
In that case, get yourself shot if only you just die.
エンジ無理。
It's impossible.
銃弾は魔法では防げない
You
よ。
can't block bullets with magic. Wait, didn't Ava do that?
いいえ、
No.
何も恐れることはないわ。
There's nothing to be afraid of.
私の魔法は、煉獄の七姉妹は、銃弾など
Compared to my
ものと
magic
も
to
し
the
ない
Seven Sisters of Purgatory, bullets are nothing. NJ-sama?
エンジ様。
Mammon was perplexed by NJ's absolute trust. NJ saw Amakusa hiding over the... give the signal. If she could comply, she would have. On that day as well. But because she'd been unable to do anything, she'd hurt NJ.
へへ、ガキめ。
Alright, Brent.
魔法が使えるってんなら、早く見せてみやがるってんだ。
If you can use magic, let's have a look right
ど
now.
うしたよ。
What's wrong?
早く魔法を見せてみろってんだ。
We're telling you to show us magic,
ほ
right?
ら、遠慮はいらねえぜ。
No need to hold back, right? Right?
俺にパピョーンと。
Okay, boom.
魔法ってやつをお見舞いしてくれよ。
Show me some magic. The black suits cheered at her, but NJ simply concentrated her mind in silence.
撃っちゃえば。
If only you just
撃
shoot.
ってみろって言ってるのよ向こうは。
He's even telling you to try and shoot, guys.
この子恐怖
This
で
kid's
も
already
う
lost her
頭が
mind
どう
from
かしてるんだわ。バイバイ。エンジェちゃん。
Bye bye, NJ.
天国で好きなだけ魔女ごっこをしてなさ
Pretend to be a witch as much as you want in heaven.
い。撃て。
Fire.
いいんですか。
Sure.
おうち。
Fire.
死ね。エンジェ。
Die, NJ.
やれるもんならやってみなさいよ。あんたの魔法を。
If you can do it, give this magic of yours a try. The black suit cocked the gun and sneering pulled the trigger. The sound of gunfire ran out, and the world stopped. A red spray scattered out, and chunks of flesh flew.
何をしてるのマモン。
What are you doing, Mammon?
銃弾ごとき無粋な石ころをエンジェ様に許すつもり。
Don't tell me you'd let a boorish pebble of a bullet like this reach NJ-sama. Lucifer lined up the bullet perfectly and with a single swing, sliced it. In the chest of the black suit, who apparently fired a gun, was a hole as big as a fist.
たまには
Every now and
私
then,
が一番乗りでもいい
I
わ
get to
よ
go
ね。
first. Half of Leviathan's body was covered with blood and a cold smile was on her face. Then slowly the pitiful prey she'd brought down fell over.
貫いた。
Pierced a human.
人間
No
を
way.
バカね。
I understand magic now. Yeah, I understand magic now. It's about love and kindness. Immediately murders someone with it. It's like, show me magic. Magic. It's all white magic. You can't show black magic. Yes, white magic. Gun. Gun is good white magic, okay? It's probably the best white magic we've ever seen. I gotta do that. Next time I You know, when we're next time, maybe sometime we're gonna play some classic Final Fantasy. I'll do that. I'll get my white mage. And of course they'll have a used gun. They'll have the item used gun, and you'll just cap fools. Demons, goodbye. Say hello to Samuel Colt.
まだあんた信じてないの？
Do you still not believe?
私たちの主の魔力。
We bring happiness to the world by dropping no names. Do you still not believe in our master's magical power? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
これだけの人間の前で権限したっていうの？
Materialized in front of this many humans?
何を？
What?
何？
Kasumi and the rest were flustered. He certainly seemed to have fired his gun, however, it hadn't hit Ange. And why? Was the person who fired hurt instead?
これが魔法。
Oh, this is magic.
見事よ、レビアタン。
Great job, Leviathan.
光栄の至り。
I'm most honored.
我らが主に逆らう愚かなる人間ども
Who
よ。
are the humans who dare oppose master?
今こそひれ伏せ、審判の時。
Now is the time of judgment. Prostrate yourselves.
どうして人間の世界に魔法は持ち込めないはずなのに。
Why does NJ control the Seven Sisters? Because Mari is able to summon the Seven Sisters, and she's she's a devotee of Mario. That's why she's able to summon them. Because she read the same book as Mario. They're cousins. The book that was just being shredded, like in the same scene, is Maria's grimoire, and actually had the they explicitly mentioned her tearing up the page about the Seven Sisters. So if there was any doubt, which there probably shouldn't have been at this point, because she said she read all of Maria's diaries and grimoires, and that's how she got them, from hanging out with Maria and learning about them, as well as having the book. Maria's nursery rhyme. Yes. Maria likes apparently murderous septuplets. You shouldn't be able to bring magic into the world of humans.
魔法は見えないはずなのに、触れられないはずなのに。
They shouldn't be able to see magic. They shouldn't be able to be touched by magic.
どうして？
これが
We're 4 chapters
本当の
in,
魔法
and
だからよ。
nobody's considered that magic equals gun, because this is true magic.
うわ
Why is magic in this series always somehow leaving bullet holes in people? It's so weird.
何をしてるのよお前たち。殺せ。
Kill?
殺せ。
One of the black suits who finally came to his senses took out his gun, readied it.
我らが主に銃口を覗かせる無礼を。
Like I'd allow you to disrespect of pointing a gun barrel at our master?
死ね。
Die. Those words were a requiem. The man's chest had already been pierced by Lucifer, who'd become the stake of pride in an instant. With the sound of the second person falling, the black suits realized for certain their lives were in peril. The instant one of the black suits doubled over in shock and turned on his heels to escape the place, the stake of sloth.
我が主への狼藉に対する報い。これ式で済んだことに感謝せよ。
I wasn't able to say Belphegor before she appeared. Damn it. Be thankful your violence against our master will be repaid with this alone.
死ね！
Oh. In his right eye, a hole as big as a walnut opened and his head split open. Belphegor was sprayed with blood and her face twisted demonically with the joy of being able to use her full power. Who's that? Who's that? Who's that? Where are you? The black suits were flustered, pointing their guns in every direction, but they didn't understand what was happening. That's a bad reaction to a sniper, by the way. Just pointing your gun randomly. They knew something terrifying was coming for them from somewhere, but they didn't know where.
バカ。
Dumbass.
敵はあんたたちのすぐ目の前にいる
Yeah,
わ
he's right
よ。
before your
魔
eyes.
女の家具があんたたちを狙ってる。
The witch's furniture is after you. But they couldn't see. Because they didn't believe in magic, they couldn't see. Just as the Black Witch said, Satan was standing boldly right in front of a black suit. However, the black suit couldn't see her at all.
人間に私たちの姿が見えるとでも
Did you think humans could see our
捉え
forms?
られるとでも
They could follow us.
間抜けな人間が
Stupid humans.
魔法に対する畏怖を忘れたる愚かの代償を払うがいい
Time to pay a fool's price for forgetting your awe of magic.
何よこれ何が起こってるの
What's going on?
あなたには見えない
You can't
愛
see
が
it
ないから
because you have no love.
ありえないこれだけの人間がいて
There's
反
so
魔
many
法の
humans.
毒素をばらまいてるってのにどうして魔法が権限できるの
The magic resisting toxin is everywhere. Why can you manifest magic?
あんた
Who are
何
you?
者なの
魔女よ
A
あん
witch?
たと違って本物
And
の
unlike you, a real one.
うわーちくしょうこ
Damn
の
it, Sid. As though announcing his candidacy for becoming the fourth victim, one of the black suits pointed his gun at NJ, and the trigger was. NJ glared at him coldly and simply ordered.
死に去らせ
次
Next,
サタン
Satan.
フンドのサタンすでにここに
Satan of Wrath, ready here.
ならばが
Block
今の
it.
エンジェ様と私たちに銃弾ごときが当たると思う
You
か
think a simple bullet can hit NJ for us now? I wonder what. Okay, so if the shooter is Amaxa, I wonder how what the fuck he is thinking. Like, imagine you're trying to save someone by firing down on like a numerically superior force, and she's just like, "You're gonna die next," and and he's like, "Are you fucking serious? This chick." Oh, what a girl! Just there's 6 guys gonna shoot me. Okay, he's first, then him. Like it's one thing to have like some pre-set up plan, which might have happened off screen. Honestly, she might have been stalling for time. Who knows? And expecting this, like I don't fucking know. She could have said that aloud, but maybe on the boat they planned it. But like, it's just fun. It's just funny to think of her being like, oh, yeah, that's magic. Well, I guess I'll just stand there. And he's like, God damn, woman, move. And she's just like, and next you. And next you. On the other hand, Amakus is kind of like this guy that's just in it for the lulz, right? Like, he's just doing whatever he wants. So maybe he finds this hilarious. Like, he's just there and he's like, no way, no way, no way. She's just standing there and be like, I guess you're next. Bye, buddy. He's like, oh, this is going to be funny, right? He's like, this is hilarious. We're just gonna pretend that we're gonna pretend she's using magic and killing them with the power of bullets. Ah, yes, a force mage. The stake of anger pierced and smashed the bullet fired by the black suit, and continued straight on towards the man's face.
己が愚かさを知り
Know your
地獄
foolishness
で後悔
and
せよ
regret in hell. Like, even better, just imagine, these guys are actually, imagine these guys are actually shooting their guns and just barely missing, too. And she's like, damn, alright. Alright. Like, he pulls the gun, pulls the trigger, and it, misses her by a millimeter, and then the guy shoots him and kills him, and he's like, god damn, and she's really cutting it close. You're a Jedi.
死ね
Die. With a terrible explosive sound, the upper half of the man's head was smashed. Bathed in scattered flesh and blood, NJ quietly asked one more question.
ねえかすみおばさん
Aunt Kasumi,
まだ魔
You
法
still?
信じる気にならないの
not feel like believing in magic?
こんなバカなこと
There's no way something so
あ
ridiculous
るわけないでしょ
could exist.
認めないわ
But accepted.
魔法なんてあるわ
No
けが
way
ない
magic exists.
そうよ
That's right.
魔法なんてあるわけがない
There's no way magic
魔
exists.
女なんているわけがない
There's no way witches exist.
魔法はあるよ
Magic
魔
exists.
女はいるよう
Are you?
そうよ
That's
魔
right.
法はあるのよ
Magic exists. Mammon is colored in, and so is Baktaro.
魔女はいるのよ
Magic
そして
witches exist?
この怒りと悲しみで満ちた世界に幸せの世界への扉を開く鍵にできるの。
Filled with anger and sadness, it becomes the key that opens the door to the world of
あんた
happiness.
なんかにそれを否定させない。
I won't let someone like you deny that.
幸せな世界への鍵はみんなの手に握られてるんだ。
The key to a world of happiness lies in each person's
そ
hands.
れを奪う資格は誰にもな
Has the
いん
right to
だ。
steal it away.
それを理解できぬ哀れな人間よ。
You pitiful human who can't
そな
understand
たの
this.
人生に魔法の力があったならもっと違った
If there was
穏やかな
magic
も
in
の
your
になっ
life,
ていただろうに。
it probably would have turned out differently, becoming much more peaceful.
そなたがその生涯において本当の魔女と出会えなかったことを
So is the Second Amendment actually just a guarantee that magic exists and can exist in anyone's life? When I think that your entire life, in your entire life, you're able to meet a true witch,
私は哀れ
I'd
む
pity you. Kasumi let out a piercing scream, and at the same time, two of the black suits came for me at once, thrusting their guns at my head, like they're trying to use me as a hostage against something their eyes couldn't see. Against the seven sisters of Purgatory who'd reached the level of weapons, this was completely pointless.
畜生、どこにいやがるんだ。
Damn it, where are
攻
you?
撃をやめねえと、この天の命はねえぞ。
Keep attacking and this bitch is dead.
姿を
Show
現してやが
yourself.
れ。
何言ってんのこいつ。美味しそうな腹渡をしてるく
What's
せ
he saying? And his guns look tasty too.
エンジ様、次は私にお任せを。
And just so next one's mine.
許す
Go
殺せ
ahead. Kill him.
ありがたき幸せ。
Thanks so much, I'm happy.
死ね
Die. The man's chest split open and his guts poured out. This terrible way of dying threw the other man into a total panic. However, Asmodeus' form was already at his back, grasping his neck and smiling obscenely.
かわいい子。
What a cutie.
ねえねえ、どこを貫いてほしい？
Where do you want to get pierced?
エンジ様、ご希望はございますか？
Ange-sama, any ideas?
頭
Ed.
かしこまりました。
Certainly, my
死
master.
ね。
Die. The final black suit had his head smashed by the stake of lust, and as his insides were scattered, he twisted and fell. In the gruesome world where 6 people lay in a sea of blood, Wish and Human confronted each other.
スマデラかすみ
Umineko
そなた
Kasumi.
の哀れなる人生に私
I
は心の
sympathize
底
with
よ
your
り
sad
同情
life
す
from
る
the bottom of my soul.
その埋めえぬ心の穴を塞げる魔法を授けてもよい
I'm willing to grant you magic that can seal up that unfillable hole in your heart,
そなたが
if you
そ
can
の魔
believe
法を
that
信
is.
じるならば
バカなこと
Don't be
言わないで。
ridiculous.
こんなの私は認めない。
I'll never accept something like this. As Kasumi was scared out of her wits stepped backwards, she picked up a handgun someone had dropped. Oh, that's awkward. Shaking, she pointed it at Ange. Unfortunately,
So,
you're a
Kasumi-
side character, Kasumi. You've shown up for exactly one arc. Will you not be returning? Alas, she's not in the main scenario. She can, in fact, be written out. Too bad.
その銃で撃ちなさい。
Kasumi, shoot with
あ
that
んたの
gun.
憎しみを銃弾に変えて放ちなさい。
Turn your hatred into a bullet and shoot.
殺してやる。
I'll kill you.
殺してやる。あんたを殺さなきゃ私の人生は報われないのよ。
If I don't kill you, I'll never be paid back for the life I've lived.
そうよ、殺して
Just kill.
火種を引いて。
Pull the trigger.
あいつにあんたのみすぼらしい今日までのすべての怒りを
All the anger and pain from your shabby life until now. You probably should have been like a little bit faster on this one. Sorry.
全部叩きつけてやるの。
I
そう
wasn't
でなきゃ
thinking when I was
あん
talking
たは痛み
earlier.
と苦しみから解放されないの
Sorry.
よ。
Beatrice is talking. I wasn't thinking when I was talking earlier. I forgot for 1 second that this was actually a character who'd only shown up for literally 1 episode and was in a flash forward sequence, not the main story. Now she is probably expendable.
やめてかすみお
Stop
ば
it,
さん
Kasumi.
黒き魔女に耳を貸しては
Don't
Dame.
listen to the Black Witch. If she dies, it's because she was theoretically only in 1 arc and is expendable.
殺してやる。殺してやる。 あんたの母親の
Is it
せい
your
で
mother?
私の人生
My entire
は
life?
めちゃくち
Been wrecked. I was thinking she'd just walk away from this though.
なら私の魔法でその人生をこれから少しずつ明るく穏やかなものにも
In
で
that
きる
case,
かも
my
しれない
magic might be able to turn that life into something bright and peaceful, bit by bit, starting.
あなたが魔法を信じ心を入れ替えさえすれば
You can believe in magic and just have a change of
あな
heart.
たに新しい世界への扉を開いて
I'll
あ
be
げられる
able
の
to open the door to a new world for you. Note that Mammon, the stake, hasn't done anything.
そんなものはないわ
There's no such
あいつ
thing.
の言う救いなんてどうせおとぎ話の中だけ
Yeah,
よ
I mean, like I said, I wasn't thinking. I was like, wait a minute, this character's only been here for one arc and is in a flash forward arc. What am I thinking? I'm being a bit of a peg on that one. Because she's like a side character. She's like a side character. Still moderately surprised if Kasumi dies, though. I think it's justifiable because she's not a main villain. But, alright. It's justifiable because she's not a main villain. But, a bit unusual.
あんたの人生はもはや死ぬまでトゲまみれ
Life's gonna be covered with thorns until you die anyway.
その苦痛の叫びをあいつに聞かせ
Let's
て
hear
や
the
り
cry
な
of
さい
agony. Let's see what happens in the
失
first
ったも
place.
のは何も取り返せないのよ
I probably shouldn't be
そうでし
justifying
ょ
Kasumi's death
スマ
first.
デラカスミ
Before she... I shouldn't be justifying Kasumi's death if she doesn't actually die.
そうね
That's right.
何も取り返せない
May
か
not be
も
able
し
to
れない
regain anything.
でもきっと新しく何かを生み出すことができ
However,
る
no, you'll be able to create something new.
だからかすみおばさん
So
その
Kasumi,
銃を捨てて
throw the gun
かすみ
away.
おばさんにも幸せな世界を
I shouldn't
教え
be,
て
I
あげら
shouldn't
れる
be,
かもしれない
I shouldn't be making claims about whether, or reacting to Kasumi not dying if she doesn't, or dying if she, doesn't actually die. I should wait until the scene's over. Throw the gun away and I'll teach you too about a world of happiness.
私はねあんたの母親が逃げ出
So
せ
mother ran away?
あんたの母親のいい名付けと身代わりに結婚させら
Of
れたの
course.
よ
To marry her fiance in her place.
将来を誓い合った男がいたのよ
There's a man I swore I'd spend my life with.
別れさせられたのよ
I had to break up with him.
あんたの母親の代わりに嫁がされて
You think you'd understand how I felt was I was forced to be wed in your mother's place? You ever wonder why she ran away?
話もろくにしたことがない男とちぎりを交わさせられた私
I
の
was
気持
held
ち
by
が
a
分か
man
る
I
っての
barely... Oh, she's still ranting, damn. I was held by a man I barely even talked to.
殺してやりたかった
I wanted to kill
な
her.
のに姉さんは勝手に死んだ
But Nason just went and died on her own.
だからあんたを殺すの
That's why I'll kill her.
そうでなきゃ私のトゲまみれの人生は終わらないのよ
Otherwise, my thorn-filled life will never end. From Kasumi's eyes, tears of passion dripped down, so pitiable. This person's tears were so clear and beautiful, but for that reason, she hadn't been able to fully withstand her sad pain, and she'd been given no choice but to listen to the Black Witch's temptation.
かわいそうに
So
なら
sad.
ばせめてあなたをあなたの魂を永遠に解放し
In that
連
case,
鎖の鎖から解き放ってあ
I
げる
release you, your soul, for all eternity and free you from the bonds of resentment.
それが今の私にできる唯一の施しかもしれない
Bit of charity I can give right now.
死ねー後ろ宮エンジェ
Damn, alright. Just gonna yell out your announcement, asking this never to die, Yoshiramiya Ange! Okay.
さようならかすみお
Goodbye,
ばさん
Kasumi.
静かな世界でゆっくり
Take a
と
long rest.
休んで
In a quiet world. I no longer feel anger or hatred of you, for you. I just want to let your soul rest in peace. I'm assuming we're not going to be doing flash forward for 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Kasumi's handgun spat fire. Slowly, the bullet continued through a world frozen to the utmost limit, aiming for NJ's head.
マモン
Mammon.
強欲のマモンここに
Element of greed, right here.
ありがとう
Thanks.
あなたたちと作太郎に出会えたから私は全てを理解できた
Because I met you and Saktara, I was able to understand everything.
エンジェ。
作太郎は後ろを向いていなさい。
Look away, Saktaro.
マモン、
Mammon,
その女を解放してあげて、
release that
そ
woman.
してマリアージュ・ソルシエルの名誉を守
Protect
れ。
the honor of Mariage Sorcière.
はい。
I will be very surprised if we continue the flash forward arc for the entire series and she stays dead. And this character and Kasumi stays dead. That would be surprising. I think she's sort of a character that we I would
覚悟せよ、スマデ
prepare
ラ・カ
ourselves
スミ。
to there. Even though the world was frozen, the stake of greed flashed like lightning. It had already gotten behind Kasumi.
貴様に多少の得があるならば、再び煉獄の山で相まみえようぞ。
If there's any virtue in you, we'll meet again on the mountain of
死
purgatory.
ね
Die. The upper half of Sumadera Kasumi's head was smashed. Her cage of flesh shattered, and she was finally released. If we continue the
あとは
flash forward arc, or even worse, reiterate it, I'd be very surprised if she keeps doing next
黒
issue.
き魔女。
Black
今
Witch.
となってはあなたにエヴァおばさんの面影を見ていることさえ
But now I
彼
think
女
even
に
the
申し訳
fact
なく思うわ。
you looked like Aunt Ava is inexcusable to her.
私の姿が未だに後ろ宮エヴァに見えているなら、
My form still looks like a Shiromia
そ
Ava.
れはあんたの中で未だに私が許せてないということだわ。
Means you still haven't been able to forgive me inside yourself.
分かっているのよ、エンジェ。
I understand, Ange.
あんただってトゲまみれの人生から解放されたくて仕方がないの。
Even you want to be released from your thorn-filled life more than anything.
なら面白いことを思いついたわ。
I thought of something interesting. Takano was in the first arc, right? Yeah, Takano was first arc, but she didn't do much in it. And she got more of a presence. Asumi seems like a side character.
私もあんたに魔法を見せてあげる。
I'll show you magic as well.
あんたを殺すのは私じゃないわ。
I won't be the one to kill you. With the worst of smiles on her face, the Black Witch changed her form into something like a black mist, or else a vast swarm of black flying insects, and began to swirl around me. Then that black mist began to gather bit by bit, shaping itself into the form of a human. What's this supposed to be?
うすうすは想像がついてるくせに。
You got a vague idea, don't you?
あんたが最も憎み、恨んだ、あの女よ。
It's the woman you hated and despised the most?
そして女も、あなたを最も恨
The
み、
woman who hated and despised you the
憎
most?
んだ。
Oh, hello, Ava. When the black mist cleared, over there was Aunt Ava's form, as she had been drain her life. Her hands were holding a gun.
エヴァおばさんは
Aunt Ava
死んだわよ。
died.
お久しぶりね、エンジェ。
Long time no see,
あん
Ange.
たを殺すために地獄から戻ってきたわよ。
I've come back from hell to kill you. Aunt Ava glared at me with a mad laugh.
でもあまり驚かないわ。
I'm not that
エヴァお
surprised.
ばさんそういう人だったし。
Aunt Ava was that kind of person.
私のお葬式はさぞや気分が晴れ晴れしたでしょ。
I imagine my funeral came as quite a relief to you, right?
私も晴れ晴れしていたわよ。
Feel the same?
あんたの面を二度と見なくて済むようになるんだから
Never have to see your
ね。
face again?
でもたった一つだけ
But
心
I
残り
had
があ
one
ったわ
regret.。
それがこれよ。
And this is it?
私を
Killing me?
それが最後の遺言だったの。
Is that your last request? How pitiful. Even after death, my aunt wasn't released from her pain.
黒き魔女の力こそが私の魔法の源泉だったわ。
The Black Witch's power is itself the source of my magic.
怒りと憎しみが私に努力と不屈を教えてくれた。
Anger and hatred taught me to work hard and
そ
persist.
れはあんたの言う現実逃避の魔法とは全く違うの。
Completely different from the magic to escape reality you speak of.
あんたの言う魔法なんてただの八つ当たりによるストレス解消だわ。
The magic you speak of is little more than stress reduction through outbursts of
私たち
anger.
の魔法は違う。
Our magic is
世
different.
界そのものを
It
作り変
remakes
え
the
るの。
entire
あ
world.
んたの小悪魔法とは
It's in a totally
全
different
く
class
格が違う。
than your wicked magic.
なら黒と白のどちらが勝つか
In that case,
この
let's
場で
settle
決
which is the
着をつけ
victor,
てあげる。
black or white. I'm still kind of surprised that Kasumi's dead, though. I know she's a side character, but I'm kind of surprised with that.
死してなお
I could
黒
justify
き
it,
魔法
but
で復活してあんたをこうして重厚で狙える私の奇跡に
I can justify it, but I think I'm still surprised that Kasumi's dead. I wasn't thinking he'd kill Kasumi. Since he had like this obsessive thing about not killing characters off. Unless they were like already destined to be killed. Seems unusual. I wonder if he's gonna do like a 5, 6, 7, 8 author message like he did in Higurashi to tell us what he thinks about it. You can see my black magic. Miracle reviving even after death and pointing a gun at you like this. We'll see who's the victor, black or white.
あんたの白き魔法はどんな奇跡で対抗を
To stop that with a miracle of white magic?
半魔法の毒素であなたを取り込んだわ
I've surrounded you with the magic resisting toxin. Wait, how are you doing that you're made of magic?
七姉妹はもう二度と呼べないわ
You
よ
can't call the Seven Sisters
さ
anymore?
っきの奇跡はもう起こらない
You can't tell that the miracle just now won't occur again?
それでも起こるから魔法って言うんだわ。
Having it occur despite all this, why it's called magic? He just wants to tell a story that had an aspect he doesn't see too often? I mean, he did say he wanted to write a story like that. I think that's alright. Why it's called magic?
いいわよ。
Okay.
マモン、私に力を貸して。
Mammon, lend me your power. But Mammon didn't respond. She didn't appear. Certainly, as she'd said, the magic-resisting toxin had burned everything up like a wasteland parched by a blazing sun. This might be a little tough.
呼びかけても無駄よ
Useless to call her.
もう二度と
Never
煉
again.
獄の七姉妹は答えない
The Seven Sisters of Purgatory will never answer.
だから、それでも呼べるから魔法なのよね。
Being able to call them even so is what makes it magic, right?
哀れねエン
How
ジ
pitiful.
さよな
So long, Ange.
らあんたとのささやかな日々はそこそこに楽しかったわ
Few days we spent together were fun in their own
こ
way.
れでお別れよ
And this is goodbye.
よかったわねあんたの終着駅がここで
Aren't you glad the end of the line for you turned out to be this place?
ええ、全くよ。
Yeah,
気
seriously?
が利くわね。
How thoughtful of you.
ありがとう
Thanks.
それじ
This is farewell.
ゃお別れね
The barrel of the gun rose slowly. You could see it all the way down it. And then the trigger was slowly. At that moment, the gun exploded. It wasn't that it fired, it burst. You're kidding me. In shock, inside a frozen space, Ava looked at the ruptured gun. When time melted, the fragments would probably smash into her face all at once.
強欲のママ
Mammon of greed.
ここに
You're right here.
バック
Kidding me. That's right, she just brought out her lightsaber and stabbed it into the barrel as the bullet was traveling, causing the gun to explode. Behind Ava's back, Mammon stood. She'd already penetrated the target I'd given her, which was the gun.
これで魔法は十分？
Is this enough magic for you,
エヴァおばさん。
Aunt Ava?
エンジ
And then time melted. The fragments of the burst gun and exploding gunpowder burned her face. Letting out a shrill scream, she covered her face and rolled around. It was pitiful.
運がなかったわね。
Your luck was bad.
これでゲームオーバーよ。
It's game
エヴァ
over,
おばさん。
Aunt Ava. I signaled to Mammon. That Ava would be freed quickly from the pain of her burnt face as she writhed around.
ありがとう、マモン。
Thanks, Mammon.
あの日の教室で、あなたたちの無力を罵ったことを、今
This
こそ、
time, I want to
心の
apologize
底よ
again.
り、
And from the bottom of
そ
my
して
heart for
再び
calling
謝るわ。
all of you powerless on that day in the
あ
classroom.
なたたちは、魔女を守るための優秀な家具だ
Your
った。
excellent furniture for protecting witches, at the low fee of $500 plus expenses per day.
こちらこそ感謝します。
I'm the one that's grateful.
良き魔女に、良き主に最後に出会え、家具の本分を尽くせたことを心より光栄に思います。
I feel truly honored at being able to meet a good witch, a good master in the end, at being able to fulfill my duty as furniture. Mammon had understood. This would be the final job I'd give her. Mammon quietly walked up to me and she looked down
エ
at
ヴァおば
Ava.
さん、
Aunt
今日
Ava.
まで付き合ってくれてありがとう。
Thanks for sticking with
こ
me
れ
for
で
so
お
long.
別れよ。
This is farewell.
Have a nice dream.
I guess she said that one in English.
See you hell.
she you head. Yeah, I'll see you in hell. Then the light sound of her forehead being bored into rang out. The battle of gunpowder, smoke, and fury of white and black magic ended. I get the feeling it was a long, truly a long journey, and the world slowly sank into darkness. You head. The stars that should have been sparkling lay not in the sky, but were scattered beneath me. When I realized the pearl and ruby made a red and white stream, I noticed it was a vast nighttime scene spread out below. I was in the sky of the nighttime scene, neither standing nor flying, but simply floating. From nowhere in particular I could hear a clap. A truly dull applause, I know. It's the one who ordered me to go on a journey. Bern Castell.
おめでとう。
Congratulations.
無限の魔女、エンジェ・ベアトリーチェ。
Endless Witch, Ange Beatrice.
あなたは旅路の末に魔法のすべてを理解したわ。
At the end of your travels, you understood everything about magic.
ええ、
Yes.
私は今や魔法のすべてを
I now understand
理解した。
everything about magic. We've reversed in time up to the point where she's falling through the air?
私は魔女よ。
I'm a
マ
witch.
リアージュ・ソルシエルが生み出した魔法世界を継承した
The last
最後
witch
の
who
魔女。
inherited the magical world created by Mariage Sorcière.
あなたにしかベアトリーチェの世界を切り裂けない。
No one besides you can tear Beatrice's world to pieces. This is the exact moment where Berncastel told her to leap off the building that she supposedly survived. Right at the start of the chapter. Or at least appears to be set right after that while she's still falling.
魔法を知るからこそ
Which means that that
それに抵
entire
抗も覚えるわ。
escapade could have been a fantasy of hers. Fun fact. Besides, I know witches. I learned how to resist them. Or she could have been jumping because she did that, but I mean, this is supposedly taking place like right after her mom died on the top of a hospital.
魔法は愛と悲しみと怒りでできている。
Magic is made of love and sadness and
ベ
anger.
アトリーチェがどんなに残酷な魔女であったとしても、
No matter how cruel a witch Beatrice might have
その
been,
魔法の源泉は全く同じ。
the source of her magic is exactly the same.
だからこそ彼女のその世界を本当
And
は
that's
そっ
why
と
I
してあ
could
げ
leave
たい。
that world of hers alone.
少なくとも彼女にとってその世界は
After all, in her
完成
eyes,
してい
at
るの
least
だ
the
から。
world's complete.
あなたに家族を諦められるならね。
But then you'd have to give up on your family.
そう
Right.
だから申し訳ないけれど私は戦わなければならない。
I don't like doing it, but I have to
家
fight.
族を取り戻せるかもしれない
The
わ
very
ずかな
reason
確率に
I
かけ
left
て
on this journey to become a
魔女
witch
となる旅に出たのだから。
was to bet on that faint chance I'd be able to take my family back someday.
ベアトリーチェを殺さない限り、あなたには孤独な世界しか存在しない。
Unless you kill Beatrice, only worlds of isolation can exist for you.
100億のかけらを旅した私が保証するわ。
As one who's traveled to billions of fragments, I guarantee it.
分かってるわ。 同
Understood.
情してる余地なんて私に
Can't
はないの
afford
よ。
to have compassion.
心を鬼にして
I must make my heart a
彼
demon
女の心を
and tear her
切
heart
り
to
裂かなく
pieces.
てはならない。
その気持ちが揺るぎないならよ
Oh,
かっ
it's
た。
good you're steady in that resolve.
同
Alright,
じ
go
魔
for
女
it.
同士情が移って志をくじくんじゃないかと心配したわ。
I was worried as another witch like her, you might grow attached and lose your will to continue. It felt hollow hearing that from a person whose face was almost completely and always expressionless. Vern Castell, the mysterious witch who invited me on this journey.
私あなたが嘘をついてたんじゃないかと
At times
疑
I
ってたことが
suspected
あったわ。
you might have lied to me.
どうして？
Why?
私は1998年のエンジェだから。家族を救ってもそれは1986年のエンジェが
I'm
救
the
われるだ
NJ
け。
of 1998. Even if I save my family, they'll only be saved for the NJ of
この
1986.
私が救われるわけじゃない。
They won't be saved for
だから
me.
騙されていると思っていたことがあるの。
So I've sometimes felt like I was being deceived.
その通りよ。私はあなたを騙したわ。
I deceived you.
でも今は感謝してる。
But now I'm grateful.
だってあなたは私に家族の取り戻し方を結局は教えてく
In
れ
the
たの。
end, you did teach me how to get my family back.
私は何も教えてないわ。
I taught you
そ
nothing.
れを知ったのだとしたら、それはあなたが魔女として自ら至った境地だわ。
Because you reached that mental state by yourself as a
それ
witch.
は
The mental state
私
is
のそれとは違う境地。
different from my own.
私に理解はできないけれど、もしもそうならば、おめでとう。
I personally can't understand it, but if that's the truth, congratulations.
私はこのゲームのプレイヤーではなく
I'm
駒
not
だ
a
と
player in this game, but a piece.
あなたは私に言ったわよね。
Did that to me, right?
ええ、言ったわ。
Said it?
その役割を今こそ完全に理
And
解し
now I
た。
understand the role.
駒に感情はいらない。
Peace doesn't need
ただ
emotions.
勝利のために
It just have to give
最
its
善を
all
尽くせばい
for
い。
victory's sake. Battler's been amateur hour, but NJ's pogging now. Yeah. NJ's doing work. Battler's been throwing as hard as humanly possible. It's okay. Battler's gotta show up again because he's the protagonist.
ええ、
This is just a nice, relaxing interlude before we continue the Battler storyline.
その通りよ。
That's correct.
ゲームは最善手を差し合うものでしょう。
The game requires you each make the best possible moves,
躊
yes?
躇や戸惑いで指し手をおかしくしてたら対戦相手も混乱するわ。
If your moves are distorted by hesitation and confusion, your opponent will be confused as well. Sorry, Beatrice. But don't hate me. Ushiromiya NJ still needs her family, so I still have the right to fight you, so I can take them back. And you have the responsibility to be challenged by me to a fight. Don't hate me. In exchange, if you win this game, I'll give you my blessings. Well, come on, let's go. As the piece I am, it's finally time for my true turn. Sorry, Beatrice. I won't hand Oni-chan over to you. You should throw me a battler. The world whitened. It wasn't white, though. It was a gold color as bright as can be. And there was the beautiful Ushiromiya family rose garden. However, the flowers on the roses were all gold. The nectar was gold colored. The butterflies gathered there were gold as well. So this is the Golden Land. The promised land the witches of Mariage Sorcière had finally been guided to. There, all wishes are granted and all magic and dreams are born. In that garden of gold roses were two, and only two, witches. I appeared as an uninvited guest, making the atmosphere tremble with unrest. What was to them a wind of misfortune shook the roses. The incredibly beautiful scene formed by the rose petals scattered by the wind was clearly something not of this world. The two who had been taking a walk on a path of golden roses noticed me and were surprised.
エンジェ
Ange?
ベアとエンジェだ
Eto, it's Ange.
どうやってここへ
How did you get here?
引き取られよ。
Leave us
わらわ
alone.
はもはやここへは誰も招かぬのだ。
I shall no longer invite anyone here. Beato spoke coldly, and you're like, I'm Ange the endless witch. Ange Beatrice, the endless witch. Suck it. Beato spoke coldly. She seemed like a completely different person from the boldly sneering woman she had once been. She closed off her heart and shut herself up in a world where she was alone with Maria One-chan. A world where she could always be alone with a friendly Maria One-chan, lecturing about magic while drinking tea, with no one to hurry them and nothing to hold them back. A world where not a single person who might hurt them existed. Yes, to the two of them, it was a small, perfect universe.
悪いわね。
Battler getting carried by his 6-year-old sister in a game. Feels bad, man.
あんたに
Sorry.
ここに引きこもられちゃ困るのよ。
Can't have you shutting yourself up in here.
私たちはあんたが戻ってこなきゃゲーム
We
は
can't
進まな
continue
い
the
の。
game unless you come back.
わらわは飽きたからやめたと言っ
I said I stopped because I'm tired of
た。
it.
もうゲームには戻らぬ。
Oh, return to the game again.
ベアトはね、ずっとここでマリアと一緒にいるの。
Beato will always be here with
ここ
me.
で一緒にお茶を飲んでね、いろいろな遊びを考える
We'll
の。
drink tea together and think of lots of ways to play.
エンジェも一緒に遊んでいいんだよ。
Play with us too, Ange.
マリア、
Maria.
それはならぬと言ったはず。
I believe I said that mustn't
わらわ
happen.
にはそなただけがいればよ
Satisfied as long as I have you alone.
い。だからそなたもわらわだけがいればよいと。
Say that you two are satisfied as long as you have me.
うん、
Yeah.
ありがとう。マリアをそこまで必要としてくれる人はベアトだけだよ。
The only person who needs me that much is you, Beato.
ならベアトと一緒にい
I'll be
る
with you.
二人きりでいい。
Just as is enough.
マリ
Thanks, Mario.
ア、ありがとう。
Grateful. Beato held Maria tight, even creating a small warm universe between their joined arms. It was probably the birth of the smallest universe in the world. The smallest universe in the world which a pair who needed each other could give birth to. No matter how small it was a complete world, but I had to tear it apart.
悪いけど
Sorry.
そういうわけにはいかないの。
I can't let it go like that.
私はこのマリアージュ・ソルシエルの黄金鏡を
I
ぶっ
came to
壊しにや
smash
ってきたわ。
this golden land of Mariage Sorcière.
なぜ
Why
わらわの世界を
are you going to break
壊すのか。
my world?
この世界がわらわとマリア以外の誰に迷惑をかけたというのか。
Are you saying this world's causing anyone other than Mario and me trouble?
あんたが初めて終わらせずにほったらかしたゲームで
You left Oni-chan waiting all this
お
time
兄ちゃんがずっと待たされてる。
in a game you started and then abandoned without finishing?
あんたが席に戻らなくちゃ勝負は永遠に終わらないのよ。
If you don't return to your seat, the contest won't end for all eternity. Beato, why are you sweating? Why are you sweating, Beato?
あのゲームにもはやプレイヤーは一人もおらぬわ。
There's no longer a single player in that game? No, just one of them's too stupid to acknowledge their own existence.
バトラは消え去り、わらわもまた消え去り、
Battler vanished and I did as well, coming here.
あのゲームはもはや終わったのだ。
Game's already over.
終わってない。
It isn't over.
あんたの始めたゲームでしょ。
You started it.
最後まできっちり責任を持って終わらせなさい。
Take responsibility, see it through to the end.
バトラーを打ち負かし、あなたが本当に望んだ世界を生み出すか。
Will you defeat Battler and give birth to the world you truly wish
あな
for?
たが打ち負かされ、あなたの魔法に飲み込まれた全てを解放
Or
す
will
る
you be
か。
defeated and everything swallowed by your magic released?
しっかり最後まで責任を取りなさい。
Take responsibility until the end.
ダメだよエンジェ。
Don't, NJ.
ベアトはこの世界でマリアと永遠に二人きりで過ごすの。
Beato will spend her time in this world. Alone with me for eternity? Is that really what's gonna happen, Mario?
マリアも
I'm
ベ
not
アト
seeing
さえ
it.
いれば他には何もいらな
I
いの
don't。need anything else. As long as I have Beato.
ここでは全ての願いが叶う。
Here, all wishes are granted, including Beato's wish to use the shit out of Mario.
全てがある。
To hide away from her game that she's throwing a tantrum about. Everything is here. This golden land is made up of nothing more than the crystallization of Beatrice's and Mario One-chan's thoughts. To drag Beato out of this world, I'm gonna have to destroy it. I'll destroy this golden land, which must be a final peaceful world in Beatrice's eyes.
お姉ちゃん、 それは違う。
One-chan, that's wrong.
この黄金鏡は嘘つきだわ。
This golden land is a liar.
お姉ちゃんの本当に叶えたい願いを
It
叶え
won't
てくれ
grant
て
you
い
the
ない。
one wish you truly want granted.
そんなことないよ。ここでは何でも叶うの。
What do you think could be granted here?
見て、
Oh,
ここには優しいママだっている。
there's even a nice mama there. Gold butterflies gathered behind Maria, forming into a kindly smiling Aunt Rosa. After smiling sweetly at me, it became gold petals and crumbled.
ここでは何だって生み出せるの。
Here, anything could be created. Okay.
エンジだって生み出せるよ。バトラだって、ジョージお兄ちゃんだって、ジェシカお姉ちゃんだって。
Even Ange, Battler, George, Oni-chan, even Jessica One-chan.
いくらでも呼び出せるよ。みんな優しくしてくれるよ。
You can summon as much as you like and everyone's nice.
エンジもおいでよ。一緒に
Come
遊
to
ぼう。
Ange. Let's play together. Sorry, One-chan.
作太郎は
And what about Saktaro? Upon hearing Saktaro's name, One-chan looked like she was choking. Summon 500 battlers. They all wish themselves out of existence.
よし
Maybe if you summon enough, one of them will realize. It's like if you roll a die enough times, sometimes eventually it'll come up with a 6, right? So we'll just roll 500, 600 battlers, and eventually one of them will realize why they can exist. We'll keep that one around.
その名を口にするな。
Do not speak that name. Beato's expression changed as well. She hugged Maria, guarding her shoulders. Saktaro's name was still taboo for One-chan.
どうして口にしちゃ
It's
いけ
been
ないの？
12 years. Why can't
マ
I
リ
say?
アお姉ちゃんの一番の親友の名
The
前
name
よ。
of Maria One-chan's best friend.
どうしてその親友をこの素敵な黄金鏡に招いてあげないの？
More like a 74-sided die. Yeah, pretty much. Why don't you invite that close friend to this wonderful golden
どう
land?
してこの何でも願いの叶う黄金鏡では作太郎だけ呼び出すことができないの？
Why in this golden land is there where any wish can be granted? Is Saktaro the only one you can't summon? It's
それは良いのだぞ。
it's all right, Mario.
作太郎のことを思い出さなくても
You don't have to remember Saktaro.
サクタロはママに殺されたんだよ。
Saktaro was killed by Mama. Mario One-chan flew into a rage with a terrible expression on her face. Surprised by the voice, the butterflies throughout the garden flew up, blowing around like a typhoon of flower petals.
ええ、知ってるわ。ローザおばさんが大切な作太郎のぬいぐるみを引き裂いたわ。
Yes, I know. Aunt Rosa took your precious stuffed animal Saktaro and tore him apart. Poor Mario. Sorry, Mario. All dreams must come to an end. Maria's scream became a storm that violently scattered golden petals and leaves. It truly was a storm of gold.
やめよ
Stop.
やめよやめよやめよ
Beatrice doesn't seem very happy
な
about
ぜマ
this.
リアの心の傷を再び引き裂こうとするのか。
Why you tried to open the wound in Maria's
わら
heart?
わとマリアの大切な親友の眠りを汚すな。
Don't defile the sleep of this precious friend to both Maria and myself.
ならどうしてその大切な親友を
Why not
あなた
revive?
の魔法で蘇らせてあげないの？
Why don't you revive that precious friend for her with your magic?
それができるものならやってい
It
る。
would if I could.
しかしあのぬいぐるみはローザによる手作りの品。
That stuffed animal was an article Rosa created herself.
そのたった一つが引き裂かれた魔法的意味は
The individual meaning of that magical being torn apart is
ごまかさないで。
don't try to fool
どう
anyone.
して作太郎が蘇らせられないか
Why can't you revive Saktaro?
答えは一つだわ。
There's only one
あな
answer.
たが本当の魔女じゃないからよ。
There's only one answer. It's because you aren't a real witch. Get fucked, I guess.
蘇らせられると
I can revive him.
わらわの魔法でいくらでもこうして蘇らせられるとも。
With my magic, I can revive him as often as I want, like this. No red text.
作太郎でこの庭園を埋めることだってできようぞ。
You could even bury this garden in Saktaro's.
ええ、できるでしょうね。
You
あ
can
な
with
た
your
でも
magic.
あなたの生み出した作太郎は決してお姉ちゃんには見えない。
But One-chan definitely wouldn't be able to see the Saktaros you create.
どうしてか分かってるでしょ。
And you know why, right?
もう一度言うわ。
I'll say it
あな
again.
たが本当の魔女でないからなのよ。
Because you aren't a real witch.
やめて！どうしてエンジはそんなひどいことばかり言うの？
Why do you keep saying such mean things at
ベ
you?
アトはたくさん魔法が使えるよ。
Beto can use a lot
と
of
ても
magic.
素敵な魔女なんだよ。
She's a wonderful witch.
サクタロだけは蘇らせられなかったけど、他のことなら何だってできるの。
She couldn't revive Saktaro, but she can do anything else.
だからサクタロだけ
I can
は
at least do
我
without
慢できるの。
Saktaro.
ううん、お姉ちゃん、それは違うわ。
No, NHN, that's wrong.
魔女にできないことなんてないの。
There's nothing a witch can't
それ
do.
ができない時点で
As soon as she couldn't do that,
ベアトリーチェは本当の魔女じゃないわ。
it was clear Beatrice wasn't a real witch.
それは違うよ。サクタロのよりしろのぬいぐるみはママの手作りの特別なものだから。
Saktaro's stuffed animal muscle was something Mama made specially herself, and
だから蘇らせられないの。
that's why she can't revive
ベ
him.
アトリーチェのあなたの魔法はそんなにも不便なの。
It's Beatrice's. Is your magic so inconvenient?
ならばそなたならサク太郎を蘇らせられるというのか。
Are you saying you can revive Saktaro?
そなたの魔法ならばそれができるというのか。
Are you saying you could do that with your magic?
できるわ。
I can. It's not hard at all. What?
マリアお姉
It's
ちゃ
not
ん、
hard. Mario Necha,
私が本当の魔法を見せてあげるわ。
I'll show you some real
私
magic.
がサク太郎を蘇らせてあげる。
I'll revive Saktaro for you.
本当？
Really?
ベアトリーチェもできなかったんだよ。
Beatrice couldn't do it right.
本
Really?
ええ、でき
I
るわ。
can.
その代わり約束して、
Exchange, promise me.
私がサク太郎を蘇らせてあげたなら、
Once I've revived Saktaro? Yes.
この黄金鏡から出て行きなさい。
Leave this golden land.
そんなことは許さ
Don't
ぬ。
permit that.
ここはわらわとマリアの世界。
World is Mario in mine.
マリアがいなくなったら
If Mario leaves,
壊れてしまう。
it'll break. The minimum number of humans it takes to create a universe is 2. Otherwise, that world's destroyed. To drag out this witch, shut away in the Golden Land, I'll have to destroy the world.
そう。それこそがあなたが魔女でない証拠よ。
And that's the proof you aren't a witch.
本当の魔女ならね、宇宙は一人で生み出せ
A
るの
real
よ。
witch creates a universe alone.
マリアージュ・ソルシエル魔女同盟。
The Mario Associate Alliance of
この同
Witches.
盟の存在自体があなたが魔女でないことの証になっている。
The existence of this alliance proves you aren't a witch. No red text
Yada.
here. But it might be true.
マリアは渡さぬ。
I won't hand Mario over.
そなたは嫌いだ。
I hate you.
今すぐに帰れ。
Leave
こ
now.
こから出て行け。
勝手にみんなをゲームに引きずり込んでおいて、
It took
自分
NJ.
は機嫌
It
一つ
took
で
NJ 5
飽きたり
minutes
追い出
to.
したり。
It took NJ, like what, 5 minutes to convince Beatrice she wasn't a witch. Battler couldn't do it in 4 arcs. And he even got convinced that he wasn't real. Damn, NJ. Alright. Giga Chad mind games from NJ. Damn. Dragging everyone into a game of your own accord and then getting bored and chasing them out when your mood
なんて
changes?
自分勝手なの。
How selfish can you be?
見なさい、ベアトリーチェ。
Take a look,
そし
Beatrice.
てマリアお姉ちゃん、
And you, Mario One-chan.
これが本当の魔法なのよ。
This is true magic.
本当にサクタロを蘇らせられる
Can
の？
you revive Saktaro?
できるわけがない。
No way you can.
ここはわらわとマリアの二人だけの黄金
It's a
鏡。
golden land for Mario and me
部
alone.
外者のそなたに使える魔法など
There's
一つ
not a
もな
single
い。
spell an outsider like you could use.
今のそなたには超一匹生み出すことさえ叶わぬわ。
As you are now, you can create a single butterfly.
静かにしてベアト。
Quiet, Beto.
エンジェを邪魔しないで。
Don't get in NJ's way. The butterflies vanished for like the second time, I think. When Maria yelled, the storm suddenly stopped and the area returned to silence. The scene is massive. It's a massive number of golden petals that have been blown upwards quietly drifted down. It's fantastical, as though a golden snow was falling. Yeah, it's the first time Mari isn't super happy with the witch. He was kindly only moderately irritated when the witch killed her. She's like disappointed. More disappointed, more like. She's like, oh, really? Are you serious? Dies. Maria, thinking about this unlikely, if only miracle, had unconsciously joined her hands together as though praying. Beato watched Maria do this, her heart racing. I like the way they drew the yellow roses. Those look really nice. Gold or yellow roses. This background in particular is really nice. In the extremely unlikely event were it to happen, this world would, but it's unthinkable. Absolutely impossible. That stuffed animal, which was the only one in the world, was torn apart and thrown away, and not a single thread remained. Reviving it was certainly and absolutely impossible. This is my golden land. A world where magic that isn't mine certainly can't exist. She did red text. If you think you can do it. You think you can do it? Let's see if you got it, Shiramiya Ange. The red text says you can't. At Beto's scream-like cry, the world lost its sound. I slowly recited the incantation for true magic. Try to remember. Maria's close friend, Saktaro. Try to remember what form you had. Remember what a lovable stuffed animal you were. Expressions of shock rose to both of their faces. Then, pushing Beto's elbow aside, Maria dashed forward. Saktaro! And then, she clung to us both. Huh, red text not working as intended, is it, Beto? Then she clung to us both. Sorry. Saktaro isn't going to disappear.
Maria, tadaima.
Maria, I'm home.
Saktaro! Saktaro!
Saktaro's back. Look at that, he's back. Saktaro! We got Saktaro back. I wanted to see you. So much. Mari needs head pads. It was, without a doubt, that stuffed animal lion. Saktaro. Its softness, its texture, its stitches, it's everything. Maria had forgotten, but the instant she hugged the stuffed animal, it all came back to her vividly.
Maria, tadaima.
I'm home.
Saktaro!
Saktaro, is your body alright? Does it hurt anyway? So horrible was done to you? Are you alright?
Ange が魔法で蘇らせてくれたから全然平気なの。
Ange revived with magic. I'm perfectly fine.
よかった。
Thank goodness.
よかった。おかえり、サクタロ。
Welcome back, Saktaro. Ange cheering up Maria.
もうマリア
I
と
don't
い
even
つ
know
ま
what's
でも
supposed to
一
be
緒だ
happening
よ。
here. From now on, I'll always be with you,
永
Maria.
遠に一緒だよ。
Together for eternity.
だから僕を離さないでね。
Don't let go of me, okay?
離さないよ。永遠に。
For all eternity. Still hugging Saktaro, she looked up at me with tear-filled eyes.
ありがとう、エンジェ。
Thanks, Ange.
エンジェの魔法はすごい。
Ange's magic's amazing.
どうして
How
どうしてサクタロを蘇らせることができた
can
の
you revive Saktaro?
ベアトにもできなかったのに。
Beato couldn't do it.
ありえぬ。
Possible.
ありえぬ。
Possible.
どうしてわらわの黄金鏡でわらわ以外の人間が魔法を使えるのか。
How can a human other than me use magic in my
こ
golden
んな
land?
ことは
This is
断じてありえぬ。
impossible.
何をうろたえているのよ、ベアトリーチェ。
What are you so flustered about, Beatrice?
これが魔法でしょ。
Magic, right?
魔法のわけがない。
No, wait. That's magic.
こ
Oh,
こはわらわの黄金鏡。
this is my golden
わらわ
land.
以外の魔法は絶対に存在できない世界。
A world where magic that isn't mine certainly cannot exist.
そしてわらわの
My
魔法で作太郎を蘇らせることはできなかった。
magic was not able to revive Saktaro.
できるはずがない
No,
のだ。
he could.
そのぬいぐるみは特
It's
別
a
なぬいぐ
special
るみ。
stuffed animal.
ローザが娘の誕生日のために作った世界でたった一つの
It's made by Rosa for her daughter's birthday. In the entire world, the only.
ね、
See?
魔法でしょ。
It's magic, right? Choked on the red? Yep. She couldn't say it. Rip. With this miracle that she couldn't possibly accept, Beato understood all my magic. She looked at Maria and Saktaro innocently frolicking around, looked at me, and then fell to her knees, with even her hands pressed to the ground, and cried.
ベアトリーチェ、これは本当に魔法なんだよね。
It is magic, right?
魔法なんだよね。
Magic.
ベアトリーチェ。
Beatrice.
う
Ooh,
ん
indeed.
魔法であるぞ。
It is
そ
magic.
れこそ
This
が
is
本当の
real.
魔法であるぞ。
どうしてベアトにもできない魔法をエンジが使えるの？
Why can Ange use magic that even Beato couldn't?
どうして？
Why?
ど
Why?
うして？エンジすごい。エンジはすごい魔女。
Ange's amazing. She's an amazing
マ
witch.
リアなんかよりもずっとすごい。本当の魔女だよ。
Who's much more amazing than me.
ええ、そうよ、お
That's
姉ち
right,
ゃん。
One-chan.
私は反言の魔女ヘンジェ。
I am the witch of resurrection, Ange.
私に蘇らせられないものはないわ。
There's nothing that can't be revived by me.
すごいよ、すごい。
Between you and the witch of origin, you could make and resurrect anything.
反言の魔法って一番難しいってベアトも言ってたのに。
Beato said the magic of resurrection was hardest.
エンジはすごい。
Ange's
本当
amazing.
の大魔女なんだ。
Really real great witch. Sorry, Beato. Sorry, Beato, you lose this one. At that time, Mari and Saktaro's forms flashed gold, and the forms of the two became golden flower petals that crumbled away. As the two became a golden wind and swirled together, they left for some other peaceful place that wasn't here. Beato had, as promised, banished Maria from the Golden Land.
Sayonara, Maria お姉ちゃん。
Goodbye, Maria, Onecha.
そしていつまでも
Be
お
happy
幸
forever.
せに。大丈夫よ。お姉ちゃんの世界にも必ずあなたはいるわ。
Don't worry, you definitely exist in Onechan's world
でも
too.
それはあなたのことじゃない。
You.
よかったな、
Good for
マ
you.
リア。わらわはそなたの親友とし
As
て
your close friend,
その再会を
I celebrate this reunion
心
from the
より
bottom
祝
of my
福
heart.
するぞ。
On Beato's face was a mixture of what was probably every expression a human could muster. All of them? Ooh, that's hard. It was joy, anger, sadness.
それが魔法の根源よね。
It's the source of magic, isn't it?
愛がなければ、
Without
悲
love,
しみがなければ、
without sadness,
怒りがなければ
Without anger.
魔法は見えない。
magic cannot be seen. The ground shook an earthquake, and it gradually summoned greater and greater fissures and began tearing Beatrice's final paradise apart. Golden butterflies fluttered about trying to escape, but there was nowhere to escape to, and Beatrice was the same. The golden land began crumbling away. The earth rumbled downwards like a floor falling through, and Beatrice was sucked into the depths of a jet black darkness. Well, Beato, back to the game world. Then she was mercilessly slammed against a jet black floor. It was a dimly lit smoking room. There was no door to exit by, and while there was a window, it let in no light. Into Beatrice's shadowy smoking room. Even though Beato was moaning from the pain of being slammed against that cold hard floor, she shakily rose to her feet. There was a seat there, and the game table, just as it had been when she left it. The game board also remained in the same state Beato had left it in.
そこがあなたの席よ。
That's your
座りな
seat.
さい。
Sit.
わらわに座るべき
So
席は
this is the only seat
ここしかない
for me to sit in?
ということなのか。
Beato put a hand against her own seat and laughed sadly.
勝つか負けるか
Win or lose.
あなたに与えられるのはそれだけよ。
That's
それ
all
に
you've
行
been
き着く
given.
過程での引き分けは許されるでしょう。
A tie during the process of reaching the point will probably be permitted.
でも中断して投げ出すことだけは許さない。
You won't be allowed to suspend the game and throw it away.
勝って生き残るか負けて消え去るか
Giga Chad NJ. Will you win and survive or lose?
その
and
どちら
disappear?
かになるまであなたはその席を立つことなんて許されない。
Until one of those two things happens, you will not be permitted to rise from the chair. But what about if she has to go to the bathroom? I know she's not a real witch or real, but you know.
それが魔女のゲームのホストである黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェの唯
That
一
should
の
be your
務めでしょ。
only duty as host of a witch's game is the Golden Witch Beatrice. Get back in your seat, Beatrice. Laughing weakly, Beato sat in the seat. She rested her elbows that covered her face with both hands, showing off a smile with nothing but
勝
her
てぬ
mouth.
ゲームを逃げることは許されぬか。
Not permitted to escape an unwinnable game.
ならばよかろう。
It shits their seat
わらわ
aggressively.
が負けるまで繰り返そうではないか。
Why don't I repeat this until I lose?
何よ気弱な。
Quit being so
勝
faint-hearted.
ちなさいよ。あなたの最善手を尽くしなさい。
Use the best
あ
moves
な
you
たが
have.
始めたゲーム。
You started this game.
あなたには最善手を指す義務がある。
You have the duty to make the best moves
いい
possible.
加減に優柔不断にふざけるのはやめて。
Give all that indecisive fooling around a rest. At that time, there was a violent sound. Beato felt a cold, pathetic sensation on her leg.
捕まえた。
Gotcha.
やっと捕まえたわよ、ベア
I finally got you, eh, Beato?
おや、大ラムダデルタ教ではない
Hey, lady, Lambda Delta, is it?
まだおられたとはな。
Think you were still here. Beato's foot was caught in an ice-cold steel shackle, tying her to the chair she sat in. She would no longer be able to escape from this seat.
もう逃げられないんだからね。
You won't be able to escape anymore, got
私
it?
こう見えてもしつこいの。意外でしょ？
I could be more persistent than I look. Surprised?
自覚がなかった方が意外であるわ。
More surprising, you don't realize how persistent you look. She's the wish of certainty, and she was certain you'd return. It was guaranteed to happen.
あんたには中座も中断も許されてないのよ。
You're not permitted to leave early or
永
suspend the
遠に
game.
戦うのよ。勝つためにね。
You'll fight for all eternity in order to win, okay?
負けたくはないでしょ？
You don't want to lose, do
負
you?
けたらどんな素敵な世界に叩き落とされるかちょっぴりだけ覗いてみたい。
Want a little peek at the wonderful world you'll be thrown into if you lose?
大丈夫よ。
Don't
勝
worry.
てるわよ。この大ラムダデルタ教があんたが勝つまでつきっきりで永遠に面倒を見てあげるから。
You can win because I, the great Lady Lambda Delta, will be looking after you. Constantly until you win for all eternity. You set this game up, Beatos. It's on you.
しかし、戦いたくとも、わらわの向かいに対戦相手はおらぬぞ。
But even if I wish to fight, there's no opponent seated across from me, correct?
大丈夫よ。
Don't worry.
バトラーを見つけてきたわ。
I found Battler. When Berncastel appeared and clapped her hands, Battler appeared from the sky and plopped down into the opposite chair. His eyes were slowly opened, but there was no sparkle in them, almost like a doll's. Without one of the pillars that established his soul, he'd fallen into the depths of the darkness and had been drifting about all this time. He should have then scattered and disappeared like mist. Berncastel managed to scrape him together. It's incredible she brought him back into a human form. However, even though his flesh had returned, his soul had not. It had been blown away by Beatrice after having its existence denied. Just found him in a dumpster behind a Denny's, basically. It wouldn't come back easily.
バトラもこの戦いを逃げないわよ。
Battler won't run from this fight
あんた
either.
に勝つまでね。
Not until he defeats
勝
him.
ち目がなくなってきたからって全て投げ出して逃げるなんてそんな無粋を許しはしない。
Just because your chances of winning are shrinking doesn't mean you'll be permitted the inelegance of abandoning everything and running.
彼だってそ
Even
ん
if
な
he
こ
doesn't
と
want
で
that.
しょ。後ろ宮バトラ
Isn't that right, Ushirimiya Battler? Battler didn't answer. His heart was still dead. His eyes wavered slightly at the question, but he couldn't answer.
バトラ、
Battler.
しっかり。
Get a hold
あ
of
なたは
yourself.
ここにいるわ
You're
よ。
here.
そして敵は目の前にいる。
And the enemy is before your eyes.
戦って
Fight!
勝つために。
Fight to win! Battler lazily repeated that, speaking incoherently. He'd come back. The wound he bore on his soul was no small thing. It was only natural. Beatrice woven her red, and he'd been denied. He'd learned the mother he'd respected was not his birth mother, and he didn't know who he was.
自分は
He was not
後ろ宮バトラではない。
Shiromiya Battler.
バカなこと言ってんじゃないわ。
Don't talk
あんたは
stupid.
他の誰でもない。後ろ宮バトラよ。
You're a Shiromiya Battler, no one else.
誰が認めようと否定しようと、あなたがそれを信じなさい。
No matter who acknowledges or denies it, make sure you believe it yourself. Come on, dumbass.
あなたの世界はね、あなただけが作れるのよ。
After all, you're the only one who can create your own world.
あなたが後ろ宮バトラである世界を失わないで。
Don't lose the world where you're Ushirimiya Battler. Yeah, identity crises be like,
じゃあ
who am I?
俺は
Then who?
誰なんだよ。
Am
お
I?
ふくろの子じゃないんだぜ。
I'm not my mom's child,
俺
right?
はどこから生ま
Where
れ
was
て
I
きた
born
んだ
from?
よ。
Red taxed it to find out. The battler asked the question as his eyes, which still hadn't regained their sparkle, stared lazily up at the ceiling. Of course, she answered right away.
ええ、そう
That's
ね。
right.
レアトが赤き真実で宣言した
Beato
わ。
proclaimed it with red truth. She also said you couldn't use magic, but here we are.
だから私も宣言する。
So I'll proclaim it too.
後ろ宮バトラは後ろ宮アスムの息子ではないわ。
Ushirimiya Battler is not Ushirimiya Asumu's son.
なれば我がゲームの対戦相手の資格は
In that
ない
case,
では
he's
ない
not qualified to be the opponent in my game, correct?
ベアトリーチェに復唱要求。
Beatrice, repeat
後
it.
ろ宮バトラは後ろ宮金蔵の孫ではない。
Ushirimiya Battler is not Ushirimiya Kinzo's grandchild. Ange is like, Jesus Christ, this was not hard to do. Oh, wow, couldn't do it. Interesting. As Beato wrinkled her forehead, a painful looking smile rose to her face.
復唱拒否ね。
So you refused
レ
to
アト
repeat
が
it?
宣言した2つの赤き真実。
Beato proclaimed two
バ
red
トラ
truths.
はアスムの息子ではない。
Battler is not Asumu's
そして
son.
金
And
蔵の孫であるバトラにしか対戦相手の資格が
no
な
one
い。
except Kinzo's grandchild, Battler, is qualified to be her opponent. Battler, being the absolute papega he is, did not realize that being Kinzo's grandchild follows a patrilineal line and rather than a matrilineal line. Literally, the easiest thing on the planet is like, well, if I'm not Asumu's son, not that that fucking matters, am I Rudolph's son? That'd be the easiest one. Easiest question. Easiest defense. It's not that he didn't realize that he didn't care. Maybe, but it's funny because he basically was like, oh, I don't exist and died. He accepted the fact that he didn't exist. So and that's why he winked out of existence. So I think he basically didn't consider that. I mean, I'm not sure where we're at in like terms of what's real and what's not real. I guess in theory it could be he just didn't know who he was, so he ceased to exist. His love for Asumu is more important than anything else. That's true. He really doesn't give a fuck that he is his father's son.
これに矛盾せずにバトラに資格を認められるのは
The following
以下
theory
の
will
仮説
allow
よ。
Battler to be accepted without creating
これ
contradictions.
が私の青き真実。
Here's my blue truth.
聞きな
Listen
さい。
to it.
ベアとの対戦相手の資格は 金蔵の孫である後宮バトラであって
The one qualified to be Beato's opponent is Kinzo's grandchild Ushiromiya
ア
Battler.
スムの息子であるか否かは問題ではない。
And whether you're Asuma's son or not isn't
す
the
なわち
problem.
あなたはアスムの息子でなくても金蔵の孫であることはで
Even
き
if
る。
you aren't Asuma's son, you can still be Kinzo's
ルドル
grandchild.
フの息子でさえあるならば
As long as you're Rudolph's son.
くだらない言葉遊びよね。
Yes. Yes, it was Lambda Delta. It was a silly word game, and Battler lost.
青き真実
The
有
blue
効
truth
よ
is valid.
ベアト赤き真実での反論
Beato?
は
Counter-argument with the red truth?
赤き真実で受けられないならバトラの対戦資格は何の
If you
問題
cannot
も
counter
な
it
い
with the red, Battler's qualifications as an opponent will stand unchallenged. Battler was still out of it. He still couldn't really understand what she was saying for him, but even so, his spirit was starting to come back bit by bit.
じゃあ
Then
俺は
who
誰なんだよ。
who am I?
しっかりなさい。
Get a hold of
あん
yourself.
たは後宮バトラ。
You're Shiromiya Battler. Nobody cares.
確かにアスムお母さんがあなたを産んだわけではないかもしれない。
Maybe Asumu didn't give birth to you?
でもだから何？
So what?
あなたにとって母親であることに何も変わりはないでしょ？
It doesn't change in the slightest the fact she was a mother to you, right? Right?
例えばあなたにとって後宮エンジェは何？
For example, what is Ushiromiya Ange to you?
血は繋がってないかもしれないけどそれでも妹でしょ？
You might not share the same blood, but she's still your sister, right?
血じゃないでしょ？絆でしょ？
It's not about blood, it's about bonds, right?
そりゃそうさ。
That's right. Who's your sister to you? Who knows?
エンジェは
Even though we don't share the same blood. You should probably red text that to make sure that's true. Ange is
妹だ。
my little sister.
赤で言って
Say it in
エン
red.
ジェは妹だって言って
Say Ange is your little sister.
エンジェは俺の妹だ。
Ange is my little sister. Good.
あ、
I could say it.
家と
She hugged Battler, who was still out of it, and slumped in his chair strongly from behind. So much it hurt.
どういう事情でアスムお母さんがあなたの生みのお母さんじゃないかはわからない。
I don't know why Mother Asumu wasn't your birth mother.
でもあなたは今日までそして今でも母親だと信じてるでしょ？
But still, up to today, and even now, you still believe she's your mother,
世の
right?
中にはね母親さえ
In this world, there are plenty of people without even a
家
mother.
族さえいない人だって大
Without
勢
even
い
a
るの
family.
よ。アスムお母さんはあなたを寂しがらせたことがある？
Did Mother Asumu ever let you feel
ない
alone?
でしょ？
Never,
あな
right?
たの平和だった家族を簡単に捨て去らないで。
Don't throw your peaceful family away so
あんた
easily.
は6年も家族の元から離れてたから家族の絆が希薄すぎるのよ。
Your family bonds have gotten too thin after leaving your family for 6 years.
もっともっと
I gotta
家
find
族の
her
絆を
Asumu.
強く感じて。
You have to feel those family bonds so much. Ange being a Giga Chad just so she could hear that she was someone's emoto in red. I hadn't thought of that. It's like, yes, we've been reading this arc for like 20 hours for the sole purpose of Ange hearing that she's someone's emoto. She's like, I want my Oni-chan to call me his emoto. Extra points if it's in which red text. The true end game.
思い出して
Remember?
アスムお母さんのためにもこんなくだらない魔女の盲言で
For
愛
Mother
情を
Asumi's
失わ
sake.
ないで。
Don't lose your love over a foolish witch's written like this.
そうさ。
You're right.
おふくろはいつだ
Mom
っ
was
て
always on my side.
俺のミココはどこだよ。
Where's this place?
くれよ。
Dark.
帰りてえよ。
I wanna go
俺
home.
の家族は
Where's
みんなは
all my family?
どこなんだよ。
They're on the game board, dying. Or most of them are dead, actually. The light hadn't returned to Battler's eyes, but tears appeared.
お家であなたの妹が帰りを待ってるわ。
Your little sister's waiting at home for you to come
せ
back.
めてあなただけでも帰ってあげないと。彼女はいつまでも一人ぼっち。
If even you don't come back, she'll be all alone forever.
妹のためにもどうか魔女のゲームに勝って。
For your little sister's sake, please win this witch's game.
エンジ、俺の妹。
My little sister.
でもよ、わからねえんだ。
I don't get it.
どうして
Why?
俺はベアトとこんなわけのわかんねえ残酷なゲームを永遠に繰り返さなきゃならねえんだ。
Why do I have to keep repeating this incomprehensible, cruel game with Beato?
もう
I've had enough.
嫌だ。
なら早くこんなゲームに決着をつけて
Well,
お
in
家
that
に帰りな
case,
さい。
settle this game quickly and go back
後ろ
home.
宮バトラー、いつまでこんなところで遊んでいるの。
Sure me about how long are you gonna hang out and play in a place like
妹
this?
が帰りを待ってるわよ。
Your sister's waiting for you to come home. That's right. Battler had been caught up in this strange game before he even knew it, and still unable to understand why he was fighting, he'd been constantly sucked into the witch's pace, played with and made to fight. That should have been his most simple and first question, because he didn't understand that he lost his purpose in fighting, and that's why my voice won't reach Battler's ears. Instead of a vague purpose like winning against the witch, or because he couldn't forgive her, he has to be aware of a purpose for which he must win. That's right.
そうだ、帰りたい。
I want to go home.
親父やおふくろ。
I want to go home to Dad and Mom
エンジェのところ
and
に
NJ.
もう嫌だ。
I've had enough.
ここは嫌だ。
Enough of this place.
もう魔女は嫌だ。
I've
ゲ
had
ーム
enough
も
of
殺
witches,
人も嫌だ。
of games and murders. Enough.
嫌だ。
Enough.
バトラの魂が戻りかけてる。
Adler's soul is starting to come back.
でもあとちょっとが届い
But
て
it
いる。
can't quite reach.
もう嫌でしょ。
You've had enough,
なら
right?
家族の元へ帰るためにも戦って。
Right, so you can return to your family.
ベアトリーチェを打ち破って帰ってきて。
Destroy Beatrice and go home.
嫌だ。
I've had enough of wishes.
もう魔女は嫌だ。ベアトも嫌だ。どいつもこいつも嫌だ。お前も嫌だ。お前だってどうせきっと魔女の仲間だ。
Enough of Beato, enough of everything, and even you. You're probably just another one of the witch's allies.
いつまた裏切るかもわからない。
I'll be betrayed again at any time.
何も信用できない。赤くない言葉は何も信用できない。
You can't trust anything, and you can't trust words that aren't in red.
俺に構うな。構うな。
Don't bother me. Don't bother me. Battler's soul howled. She hugged his head from behind, strong enough it hurt.
早く帰ってきて、お兄ちゃん。
Come quick. Come home quick, Leonie-chan. Wait, that's in red?
私を一人ぼっちにしないで。
Don't leave me all alone. That's in
お
red?
前、
Who? Are you? She suddenly shrank down. Her arms are very small, as is her face. It's a request in red. It's a command in red. Wait, it's not a universal truth. Does that mean he's going to? How does she say that? How does she give commands in red? They aren't universal truths. I guess Beato can order him to kneel in red. So I guess you can make requests or commands if you believe they'll follow through on it, right? Maybe that's how it works. Laughing in red? Does laughing in red mean something's absolutely funny? A good thought. All right, we gotta get a shot of this, right? A shot of this with no. Yeah, there we go. There we go. No interfering text. Young Ange and adult battler who's mostly zoned out. Young Ange is pretty cute. Is she as cute as Maria? Maybe. Maybe. It's a fierce competition.
私
Who
よ、
are you?
エンジェよ。
It's me. It's Ange.
お父さんもお母さんもお兄ちゃんも誰も帰ってこない。
Dad, Mom, and Oni-chan. No one came home.
寂しいよ。
I'm so
お
lonely.
願いだから早く帰ってきて。
Thank you. Come home quickly. Ange.
お前
You're Ange.
エンジェだったのか。
そうよ、エンジェ
That's
よ。
right. I'm Ange.
誰も帰ってこない世界の後宮エンジェ。
The Ushiromiya Ange of a world where no one comes home.
私の家族はすべてあの日の六軒島から帰ってこない。
My entire family never came home from Rockinjima that day. You can bet she wants you to
目
succeed,
の前
right?
のあの魔女が家族をすべてお兄ちゃんさえも奪い取ってしまった。
The witch before your eyes stole away my entire family, even you,
お兄
Oni-chan.
ちゃんだけがあいつをやっつけられる。
Only you can finish her, Oni-chan.
あいつをやっつけて、
Finish her.
そして家族を取り戻して、
Take your family back.
そして私のところに帰ってきて。
And then come home to me.
ベアトが
Beato did that.
家族
My family.
そうとも。逃げも隠れもせぬ
I won't run away or hide from
わ。
her.
わらわが後宮エンジェから家族を奪った。
I stole Ushiromiya Ange's family away from her.
バトラはわらわの玩具よ。
Battler's my toy. I don't see that in red I don't see that in red, Beatrice.
その父親も母親も
Beatrice.
すべて玩具よ。
His father and mother are both my toys.
そなたには返さ
I
ぬ
won't give them back to you.
永遠に一人ぼっちで帰らぬ家族の帰りを待ってさまよい続けるがいいわ。
You may continue to wander all alone forever, awaiting the return of a family that will never come back. From Ange's arms that held him the painful, sad days that had been experienced by his lonely little sister flowed into Battler. Because he'd been playing around in a place like this, his little sister had been left all by herself. Had been forced to endure all that pain.
エンジェエンジェくそ
What am I
俺
doing?
は何をやってたんだ。ありがとうなエンジェ。
Thanks,
お
Ange.
兄ちゃんは大切なことをずっと忘れていた。
Oni-chan, he's been forgetting something important this whole time. I mean, dude, you even forgot that the sibling challenge for successor didn't include NJ for some reason. I thought that was the strangest choice. It was like, huh, we'll decide who's the rightful successor. Bring all the grandchildren to me. And anyone gonna mention that NJ's not on the island? No? Ginzo? Hello? No? No? Not even Battler? He completely forgot she existed. It was so strange. I was like, aren't they gonna, I swear, I was like, aren't they gonna bring NJ? What about NJ? How are they gonna do succession trials without NJ? No one's bringing her up. Not even her own mother brought her up. Kyrie completely forgot NJ existed. Battler tried to turn around, but NJ was hanging onto his head with an incredible force, so he couldn't turn back. Was it sweat? Hot drops were splashing on the nape of Battler's neck, but what they were, he knew from holding NJ's arm that clung to him. Because it stained Battler's hand, his fingers red. Blood.
エンジェ大丈夫か。
Are you okay?
おい
It dripped and splashed. He didn't know what was going on. Battler didn't know because he couldn't turn around, but the hot drops that stained his entire back were surely
お兄
blood.
ちゃんを助けるために、
In order to save you, Oni-chan.
ここに来るために、
And in order to come
唯
here,
一
there was one
守
rule
らなきゃいけないルールがあったの。
I had to follow.
それが
This
これ、
is it.
お兄ちゃんに
Letting you, Oni-chan.
私が
No.
エンジェだと知られてし
I
ま
was
うこと
NJ.
辛かったよ。
It was so hard.
お兄ちゃんが目の前にいるのに
Oni-chan was right before my eyes.
口
I
に
couldn't
でき
even
な
say
いな
that.
んて。このルールさえ守ればずっと永遠にお兄ちゃんのそばにいられるはずだった。
As long as I followed this rule, I should have been able to stay by Oni-chan's side for all
お
eternity.
兄ちゃんと一緒
Should have
に
been able
魔女と戦うゲームを
to play in the game against the witch. Okay, you didn't actually do much gameplay
永遠に
for eternity.
遊べるはずだった。
Oni-chan.
でも
That's,
それじゃ
it's no good. Oni.
お兄
Oni.
ちゃんは帰らなきゃ。
You have to come back.
お家で
Your sister's waiting for you.
あなたの妹がそれは私のことではないけれど
That person isn't me.
それで
But this way, your sister
あなたの妹は救わ
will
れ
be
る
safe.
エンジェ
Ange,
エンジェこんなに
Ange,
血が
there's so much
こ
blood.
んなにこんな
So
に
much. He wanted to turn around, but NJ was gripping his head too tightly. However, judging by the blood that was pouring out and NJ's pain breathing, he realized something seriously wrong was happening to her now.
気にしないで
Don't worry,
私は所
I'm
詮
only a piece.
あのねチェスでは
You
ね
know, in chess, they have a move called a
サ
sacrifice.
クリファイス
サクリ
Sacrifice
なんだ
what?
ってそんなことはどうでもいい
Who cares about chess? We're including random chess metaphors. Screw you.
早く手当てを
Let's get you some first aid quickly.
この手を一度離すんだ
Let's go for a second. NJ, go for
サクリファイスと捨て駒のこと
a sacrifice is an abandoned
戦
piece.
略的展望のためにわざと損を承知で駒を見捨てることを
For tactical gain, you intentionally accept a loss and let a piece go. And sacrifices feel really weird because you're giving away a piece with nothing but positional advantage or long-term positional advantage. It's really weird. You're like, okay, I'll just like leave this piece hanging, give him a free kill, and like I'll develop another piece instead. Feels really weird to do sacrifices sometimes. You're just like, shouldn't I be quibbling over every piece or positioning to make sure they all live? Instead of just leaving a random piece hanging. Letting it bite it. Like, shouldn't that be a flaw in the plan? Because trading is not sacrificing, right? Just to be clear. If you offer, you know, pawn for pawn or like, you know, bishop for rook or some weird shit like that, where you like move a piece and then it's like you get a piece, I get a piece, that's trading. But sacrifices feel really weird because you're not like immediately counterattacking. You're mostly just giving them the piece for like development elsewhere or a setup for a greater payoff in a few turns. Chess, the ultimate goal is victory, so if it can bring you to victory in the end, there's nothing wrong with sacrificing a few individual pieces. Ange had coolly made a decision. She'd been taught over and over again she was a piece, not a player, and in order to act like a piece and save Battler right now, she'd have to become a sacrificial piece herself. Rip NJ. At least she was she's a complete Giga Chad, but she's gone now. Battler had to know. His purpose in this Witches game couldn't be something as abstract as finishing off the Witch. He had to win the game, release himself, and bring his family back home. Why? Because he had family, a little sister who was waiting for him to come home. A being was created so that Ushirmiya Enge's voice could reach you. That's me, Enge Beatrice. I'll sacrifice the piece I am to give you the will to fight, to give you purpose. My purpose isn't to play with you in a Witches game forever. I came to bring you Ushirmiya Enge's mourning and sadness. That's my unshakable purpose.
Ange!
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 The white, thin arm that held Battler became pale and transparent, almost like wax, and even so, the fresh blood stained it so cruelly.
私は
I'll
もう消えちゃうけれ
disappear,
ど
but you.
お兄ちゃんは頑張って戦って
Fight with all you've got.
と
I'm sure you'll
私のところへ帰ってきてね
come back to me.
待ってるよ
I'll be waiting.
と
Oh,
お兄ちゃんをもっといっぱい手助けしてあげるつも
I
りだった
planned
の
on
に
helping you out a lot more than this.
何もできな
I
かっ
couldn't
た
do anything. Sorry.
ごめんね
Sorry that Battler is so dumb she had to sack herself to get him to actually try to win the game for 2 seconds. Think of how hard Battler threw. He got his own ally and had to throw so hard that they died. Good job, Battler. Oh well.
いいんだ
Scene's good. Scene was written fairly well, at least. And it was foreshadowed, so it's not a surprise that she was going to die if she admitted she was NJ. They said that earlier, that she only had one wish. She only had one rule, and that she wasn't allowed to say his name. So you could predict she was probably going to die if she said it, and that she would say it at some point. Whether it was this chapter or a future chapter, it wasn't clear. It's nearly impossible to carry Battler. Battler, the kind of person you try to carry in a game of League, and he feeds so hard that despite the fact you're 20-0, you still lose the game. Like, you told him, just stay in the base and do nothing and we'll win, and he ends up like running out and dying like 30 times. A literal Witch of Resurrection kill herself for this dumbass. I mean, you sometimes people just can't be carried.
お前は俺に教えてくれたじゃねえ。どうして俺が
Taught me why I
勝た
have
な
to
くちゃ
win.
ならないか。そして俺が絶対に勝って
I gotta
お
win
前
for
のと
certain
こ
to
ろ
come
に
back to
帰
you.
ってやらなくちゃって。
Alright, Battler. You need to upgrade. You need to ascend. Can we get Red Battler? Can we get Red Battler where his sleeves are red or something? Don't yell at my boy. He's been through enough. I'm sure he's been through a lot of traumatizing stuff, but he's still been defined by Red Text as incompetent. He's a freaking idiot. I've got to win for certain and come back to you. Good luck, dude.
俺は
What am I doing?
何をこんなところでぼんやりと遊んでいたんだ。
Lazing about in a place like this?
ああ。
I
も
won't
う
play
こん
around
なところで遊んでなんかいないぞ。
I hate to tell you, Battler, but you've actually said you won't play around and you're getting serious 3 times now. At least 3 times. He's done that mid chapter too. How many times has he said he's getting serious and been not serious? I swear, at some point you gotta stop believing him, right? He's like, this time it's for real, and you're like, okay. Okay, Battler, it's for real. It's
帰る
for
から
real.
な。帰るからな。
I'll come back. I'll come
お
home.
土産持って。きっと帰るからな。
I'll definitely come home bringing a
約束する。
souvenir. I promise.
いらないから
Don't need one.
一つだけ
Promise me
約
one
束
thing.
して。
なんだよ。何でも約束する。
Anything.
この手を今から離すね。
In a second, I'm gonna let go of this hand.
痛かったでしょ。
It hurt, didn't it?
ギュッとしてて
Sorry.
ごめんね。
I hold it so tightly.
私は大丈夫だから振り返らなくて
You don't have to run or
いいか
turn
ら
around. Okay.
だから
In the end,
最後にお兄ちゃんの一番かっこいいところを
let me see the coolest. In the end, let me see the coolest part
見
of
せ
you,
て
Oni-chan.
席を
Rise
立
from your
って
seat.
目の前の魔女を指さして
Point at the witch before
ゲ
your
ー
eyes
ムの再開を
and announce the game will start again.
して
NJ's hand slid and disappeared behind me. There were bloody fingerprints left behind, blurred by her fingernails. But I turned around right away to take care of NJ's wounds.
エンジ
NJ, roleplay for me, please. NJ.
ン
NJ?
エンジ
ああ。振り向いちゃダメって約束したの
And
に。
you even promised you wouldn't turn around. NJ?
エンジ
Where?
どこへ
Battler literally didn't last 2 seconds. Not even 2 seconds into his this time it's for real. I promise I won't look back. He immediately looks back and he's no longer real. Come on, dude. Come on, dude. It's not that hard. What? Behind my chair, as though there were about 10 watermelons packed with blood had been smashed, there was a sticky, pulpy mountain, and around that mountain of blood and minced meat, the clothes and shoes NJ had been wearing lay crumpled as though they'd been taken off and thrown away, as though just a human's insides had been pulverized and tossed there like scrap, as though NJ, who'd been standing there until a second ago, had been crushed.
エンジエンジはどこだよ
Where's NJ? It's gotta be a world record. As the battler apologist, if my sister would die, I'd look back for real. Yeah, maybe. I don't know if I would in this exact situation though. If she's like, all right, I got used magic to get here, and if I ever omitted my name, I was gonna die. And I'm like, are you serious? Yeah. Well, fuck. All right. I'd look forward. At least do the game will continue shit. Then you look backwards, right? You're like, all right, dying wishes first. Dying wishes first. Check the corpse later. Because she didn't say he couldn't do what she asked and then immediately turn around. And besides, this is like Magic Land. If someone's getting murdered, they're super fucked. It doesn't really matter if NJ is dead or not either, because you can like have one of the witches could resurrect her in like 2 seconds if they care to, right? It's Magic Land. If someone says they're dead, they're dead. Battler's been killed by the sisters like 200 times, so he knows like what death is like, that you can die and that you can be resurrected. He should be meta battler should be fairly understanding of how when someone says, "Well, I'm dead," it's like they're actually dead. They're actually dead at this point. Come on, dude. Even though the NJ part's a shock and like you wouldn't be expecting to know NJ's here and maybe be a bit out of sorts. Oh well. Sure, he looked back. It's fine. It's typical battler.
Ange はどこに消えたんだよ。
Where did NJ disappear to? He's in denial.
おい
Hey.
エンジはどこに消えたんだよ
Where did NJ go to? The 2 young-looking witches said nothing and just silently looked at the mountain of blood, meat, and clothes. But I didn't want to accept it. I definitely didn't want to accept it.
わらわ
I was right in front
は
of
ず
you.
っと見ていた。
I was watching the whole time.
そなたの後ろで。
Watching what happened to NJ behind you.
どうなった？
お前は知ってるのかエンジは
Where did NJ go?
どこへ行ったんだ
生きなが
While she
ら焼
still
けた
lived.
でっかいペンチで
Pinch by pinch. Massive,
一つま
red hot
み親指
pincers
大の大きさに全身の肉を引きちぎって
tore chunks of flesh the size of a thumb
捨
off
て
of
てい
her
くんだ。
and threw her
わ
away.
らわ
Threw
は
them
見て
away.
いた。
I was watching.
魔女の釜で真っ赤に焼かれた無数の残忍な工具の
I watched as
Angel
countless cruel
後ろから
tools burned red hot in the witch's furnace approached Ange
一
from
つま
behind.
み一つまみ肉をついば
And one bit at a time,
She-
pecked at her, twisted her,
引きちぎり
ripped chunks off of her, and tore her to pieces.
細切れにするのを見ていた。エンジェは誇っていい。
NJ should be proud.
兄と最後の言葉を交わすために
In order to share some last words with her
その
brother,
苦痛の喘ぎを最後まで耐えたこと。
he stopped herself from gasping at the pain until the very end. As if something like that could have happened. But on top of that mountain of flesh and clothes, what had fallen there was without a doubt what she had been wearing on her head, those pink jeweled hair ornaments. To be honest, I thought they were a bit childish for her and didn't suit her, so I remembered them well. Why did NJ wear such cheap hair ornaments all the time? No. The thought that this is NJ couldn't possibly be.
ベアとも正直ね。
You're pretty blunt, Beto.
バトルには見えてなかったんだから。
Battler didn't
蝶
see
々
it.
になって飛んでいったとか言ってごまかしちゃえばいいのに。
You could have just said she turned into butterflies and flew away or something.
お前らも
Guys also saw.
それを
Yep, all
見ていたのか
three of them saw that and not a single person reacted. You also saw that happen?
エンジが
Saw
バラバラに引きちぎられていくところを見ていたのかよ
torn into little bits? Yeah, and
見て
Battler,
て
you were watching?
そんな
And yet,
平然とした顔
You
をしてたのかよ
so calm the whole time? Without answering, Bern Castell, Lambda Delta, and Beatrice stared at me, some in pity, others derision, watching me. Then she called herself Gretel, and after what had happened with Virgili in the last game, I thought she might be Beato's underling. I've been wary of her, not trusting her even though she was an ally. And now, after learning it truly was Ange without even being allowed to see her face, I turn around and find something like this.
良いではないか。
Why does it matter?
妹のことなど。
All this about your little sister? What did you say?
どうせそなたは永遠にここから帰れなどせぬわ。
You'll never return from this place for all eternity anyway.
そなたが帰らぬ世界の妹などどうなろうが知ったことではなかろうが。
Whatever happens to your little sister in a world where you don't come home has nothing to do with you.
そなたがここで遊んでいる限り無数の世界のエンジェが孤独となり
As long as you play here, the Anges of countless worlds will live in isolation. Well, that means Berncastel can go find isolated Anges and bring them to die for this again. She's Rick and Mortying this. I mean, that's what Berncastel did, right? She went and got an Ange from the future. Went and got another Ange. Although these witches could easily resurrect Ange on demand. I mean, resurrecting someone isn't that hard for a witch. They can do anything, right? But yeah, Battler should probably get to it. Berncastel plucked. Yes.
今の最後と同じ苦痛を
Although she quote
10
unquote
年以
plucked.
上にもかけて薄めて強いられる
For all we know, for all we know, this is just that was just a dream of Ange's as she fell to her death from the skyscraper. As if you noticed, we did jump back to that exact moment while she was falling off the skyscraper. So the truth in that Ange's world is gonna be that she jumped off a building. She jumped off a skyscraper and fell to her death, right? Just like 5 minutes after Ava died. Alright. The same pain of her final moments just now will be forced upon her, spread over a period of more than a decade.
だが
However,
そんなことはどうでもいいことではないかここにいるそなたには見えな
can't
い
be seen by you from here.
観測できない
Can't observe it.
観測できない真実は
An unobservable
若き
fact.
真実を用いねば立証できない
An unobservable fact cannot be proven except by red truth. Since it can't be seen, you don't know what's happening to NJ. Okay.
だからエンジェのその後の不幸はそなたの杞憂かもしれ
Your
ない
anxiety over NJ's misfortune after this may be needless.
案外
She might
ルド
surprisingly
ルフの遺産でのんびりと生涯働かずに暮らせてたりしてな
be able to live a casual life without ever having to work thanks to Rudolph's inheritance, right? That's a lie. From NJ's arm, every part of that sad future world had poured into me in an instant, all because I keep on lazing about forever and playing in a place like this. I never thought about anyone but myself. Well, I must defeat her. I'll take back my family, back to where NJ is waiting. I'll come home as soon as I can, because even if, as I hang around with the witch like this, NJ's heart continues to be torn to bits by sadness. NJ, is this?
お前が見たかったのはこれだよな
What you wanted to see? I turned towards the cruel witch who had indifferently spoken of NJ's brutal last moments and slowly, yet with all my might, pointed.
ベアトリーチェ
Beatrice.
うん
Indeed.
ゲーム
Resume this game.
のもう俺は逃げねえし
I won't run away anymore. I won't let
お
you
前も
escape.
逃がさない
望むところよ
Bring it up.
わらわはもはや
I
逃
can
げ
no
も
longer
隠れ
escape
も
or
で
hide.
きわらわとそなたの決着を
Let's
確
decide
実に
this.
つけようぞ
Between you and me for good.
どちらかが勝
One shall
つ
win
どちらかが
One
敗
shall
れて
lose
滅ぶ
and be
そ
destroyed.
れ以外の結末は
No other
存在し
resolution
ない
can exist.
俺は勝つ
Oh.
どれほどの時間をかけようとも絶対にお前を打ち破る
No matter how long it takes, I'll definitely smash you.
この勝負にもう妥協も中断も不先輩もない
There won't be any more compromises, interruptions, or losses by default in this
俺は
contest.
逃げない
I won't
逃がさ
run,
ない
and I won't let you get away.
俺を本気で倒しに来いよ。
Try and defeat me with
くだら
everything
な
you
い
can.
騙しもごまかしもおかしな交流も慣れ合いも一切必要ない。
There's no need for stupid tricks and deceit, for intermingling and acting
お前
friendly.
と俺は敵同士。
We're enemies.
一秒でも早く決着をつけて
I have to.
俺はエンジェのところへ家族を連れ帰らなきゃならない。
I have to settle this as soon as possible and bring my family back to Ange.
揺るぎなき決意、
Unwavering resolve.
絶対の意志、
Certain willpower.
人間の絶対なる意志は絶対の魔力となる。
Certain willpower of a human becomes certain magical
それは
power.
奇跡に通じ、
It leads
それ
to
を
a
約
miracle
束する。
and promises it shall be so.
そう。これは約束さ
This
れ
is a
た
promised certain
絶
miracle.
対の奇跡。わらわの勝ちは100億に一つも。
Are my chances of victory not even 1 in a billion?
ひとかけらの奇跡も絶対になく、
Shall it be certainly impossible without a fragment of a miracle?
わらわの足にはいつの間にか音もなく、もう片
Before
方
I knew
の
it, a
足に
stiff
も
cold chain had
冷
bound my
たく
other
頑
leg
丈
without
な
a
鎖が
sound,
絡みつき、この椅子に縛り付けている。
tying me to the
わ
chair.
らわに残されたる運命もバトラに殺され敗北することか。
All that's left is to be killed and lose to
それを
battle
拒み、永遠に引き分けを繰り返すことのみ。
or resist and continue in an endless tie for all eternity.
殺されるための心の整理がつくまで引き分けを
Or perhaps
繰り返すの間違
I
い
should say it's to continue tying until I've prepared my heart for death.
いずれにせよ
Either way,
破れ
I
るためだけに戦わねば
I
なら
fight to lose and nothing more.
もう永遠の鎖はわらわを縛り付けた。
I've already been bound by the chains of
そして
eternity,
バトラもまた
and Battler won't let me
み
escape
っとも
either.
なく許しを請う
Should I
ため
beg forgiveness?
同情を請うため
Beg compassion?
哀れみの心に訴えかけ
Appeal to
る
his pitying heart?
なりふり構わず土下座して
Should I forget our appearances and prostrate
鎖の
myself?
せいでそれも叶わぬわ。
Because of the chains, even that choice will not be granted
チェ
me.
ックメイト。これ
Checkmate.
は完全なる
A
爪だ。
perfect stranglehold.
だ
However,
がわらわは
I am the
黄
golden
金の
witch,
魔女、黄
Beatrice,
金鏡に君臨したる黄金の魔王。
the demon lord of gold who reigns
破
in the
れる
golden
ため
land.
の戦いであってもわらわにはふさわしき態度がある。
Even in a fight to lose, that's an attitude befitting for me.
そしてわらわにふさわしき散り際を飾る権利がある。
And I have the right to adorn my death in a manner suited to me.
わらわとて同じ。
I'm no different.
そなたに我が魔法を存在を認めさせてこの島に黄金鏡の扉を開く。
I'll make you accept the existence of my magic, and the door to the golden land will open on
そ
this
なたは
island.
その最初の茶会の主賓となるだろう。
You'll be the guest of honor at the first tea party.
そなた以外は全員がすでに揃っているぞ。
Everyone besides you is gathered already,
主
you
賓
see.
の到着が遅れているからいつまでも茶会が開けない。
Because the honored guest's arrival has been delayed, the tea party can't begin.
そなたの父親も母親もいとこたちもみんなお前の
father-
到着を待ちくたびれているぞ。
Your father, mother, cousins, and everyone else are getting tired of waiting for your arrival.
ああ上等だぜ。
Perfect. Just
まっ
perfect.
たくにもって上等だ。何が魔法だ何が魔女だ。
Hell is magic. What the hell are witches?
お前との遊びはこれまでだ。
I'm done playing with you.
ベアトリーチェ
Here we go. Beatrice.
存分に来るがよいぞ。妥協も中断も不先輩もない。
Come as hard as you can. There will be no compromise. Interruptions are losing by default. One shall win, one shall be
ど
destroyed.
ちらかが滅ぶ。お前に負ける意志がないというならわらわを倒すしかない。
If you have no desire to lose, you must defeat me. Kill me.
しかしわらわも
But I won't be slain so
む
easily.
ざむざと殺されはしない。わらわにふさわしき最後をそなたが用意できるまで抵抗を繰り返すことができる。
Until you prepare a fitting ending for me, I'll resist again and again.
そなたにそれが
Can
で
you
き
do
る。
that?
いや
You probably
でき
can.
るだろう。必ずできるさ。
You surely
来いよ
can. Come and kill me. Is it that
やりに
hard?
くいか。ならばいつもの調子でいこ
Now
う。
let's go with the usual. The classic witch lamp.
殺されるか
As if I'll
よ。
be killed.
せめて勝てなくても お前に勝ちを譲らない程度の嫌がらせはできるんだぜ。
Even if I can't win, I can at least harass you enough to stop you from snatching victory, right?
ほう。
That's a good look on your face.
いい面構えだ。
And with this, the game resumes.
殺
Please.
してみろ。
Oh, good lord, they're still talking. They've just start the game. Try and kill me.
殺してみろよ。後ろ宮バトル。うおー。
Really quickly. A title flash. Kill me, kill me, kill me. Get the title card. You've been hanging out a bit. Back to our game. I did read most of the dialogue. If it says, one of them said if you don't kill me, something else will happen or something like that. One of them said if you don't kill me, blah blah blah. I think one of them said please kill me. And addition of features, a gift. Okay. Wait, we're just cutting to credits or the main menu? Yeah, it's the main menu. We're cutting right to the main menu? We're not finishing the current session? That's unusual. Why did we not finish the current game session? Yeah, we're not resuming it? Really? Okay. Well, that's a thing then. That's the perfect time to stop, too. It's getting a little bit late, so we're gonna have to wrap things up and do the tea party and the witch's tea party, which the definition has heavily blurred, but we'll do them next time.